Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me today, I got two co-hosts. I got Sage from Rated M for Immaturity. I also got Connor Kent. Nick, how's it going there?
I'm back, bitches.
Good to see you there. How's it going there, Nick?
It's
We're gonna be
going
doing
great.
a good show for you people today. Gonna be doing some movie reviews. Sage's got a video game review, and then, of course, as always.
Oh, looks like we got some technical difficulties. But yeah, as always, we'll be raiding somebody at the end of the stream.
Yeah, rating somebody.
There you go.
Yeah, make sure to tighten this up a little bit more.
Yeah, I got this playbook.
Yeah, make sure to rate somebody at the end of the stream here. Upcoming future streams, got a stream there Friday. It's gonna be a little packed. Just catching up with some movies. Didn't get a chance to review last week. There's a new Ari Aster movie out right now called Eddington. There's that. There's also I Know What You Did Last Summer, the reboot, legacy sequel, remake,
Yep.
whatever you call
The latest prequel.
You guys know there was a TV series too?
Yeah,
I did. I looked that up when I was looking at it on Wikipedia. I saw there was a TV series that I Know What You Did Last Summer. So I guess they did everything that Scream did. I guess in terms of that. So even Scream it.
Wow, just like the original. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
I've been sitting there writing things down for 20 years watching the set of.
But I've never seen the very first one. I was planning on doing a retro review for the first one. I never have seen the first. I Know What You Did.
It's not good.
Okay. But I mean, that was Sarah Michelle Gellar. That was her year because that year she was in I Know What You Did Last Summer. She was in Scream 2, and she was in Buffy. That's when the first premiere of Buffy happened. So that was her year, Sarah Michelle
Yeah,
Gellar.
it was her year, and yeah, there was nothing stopping her in spite of Kevin Williamson's best efforts.
Yeah. They had
It wasn't too long before Scooby Doo came along and changed that. But...
Yeah, people like
around for a minute. Yeah, Scooby Doo is really good. I think a while ago, me, Brandon, and Hunter, we did a retro review of the 2002 Scooby Doo. And yeah, that movie is like silly, goofy, fun.
I don't think your mic is plugged in, Nick. Is your mic plugged
in? What? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it sounds like it's not coming from your mic at all there.
All right, how about now?
Yeah, that sounds much better there.
Stupid browser keeps putting the wrong mic. But yeah, the 2002 Scooby-Doo is silly, goofy, fun, and I just watched the original I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it's a movie that is just asking you to like have sympathy and root for the most morally reprehensible characters of the 1990s because they are hot, which I have working eyeballs. Everyone in that cast can get it and still can get it.
So I Know What You Did Last Summer. And then also there's the movie They're Fantastic Four. That's the big movie that's coming out this week. I don't know when the reviews are going to come out. I think maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe.
I think critic screenings are either tonight or tomorrow, and that's when reviews start dropping.
So that's going to be, but I heard early previews, but it's the internet. People are always going to hype up something. They saw it first. So they're saying, yeah, it's really great. So,
The early previews for the 2016 Suicide Squad were really, really great. So.
Yeah. There's always
the countless, early screenings of The Flash were saying this is the greatest superhero movie ever.
Yeah.
Look how that turned out.
So, and then if I can, I'll probably maybe do Heads of State, maybe that Idris Elba, John Cena movie there. Do that. That's on Amazon Prime. I might do a review for that. Then this weekend, Saturday, nothing planned for Saturday. Sunday, I might do a review there. If Chris from the Black Sales Podcast should do a review for Ironheart, and I may have Michael from Greyworks come on, help me do a retro review for 28 Days Later. So I have to do that one.
Ooh. I'm gonna clear my schedule for that. That sounds fun.
So do that. So yeah, future reviews, and then next Monday there, nothing planned as of yet. What are you gonna do next Monday? Maybe probably do a spoiler review for Fantastic Four. If I don't know if you're planning probably. Are you planning on seeing it opening weekend?
Me?
Yeah.
Uh, maybe, maybe.
Okay. Well, if you see it there, we'll probably do a spoiler review of it Monday for Fantastic Four 2025. Fantastic Four: The First Steps,
Mhm.
as they call it. Wasn't Superman called The First Steps or something, or the
It,
First
it was it was originally called Superman Legacy when
Legacy?
when James Gunn was announced to have taken over the studio. After Dwayne Johnson's monkey paw wish finally curled its finger.
So yeah, probably do that then. Next Monday. Yeah, the show we got Fantastic Four 2005. We got that one. So 20-year anniversary of Fantastic Four 2005 there. I know that Fan Four Stick won the poll, but decided to do 2005 since Julian McMahon did pass away recently. So there
Mhm.
was that. And then also, yeah, why not check out that? So that was part of the reason why I decided to go with 2005 instead of Fan Four Stick there.
Mhm.
It's kind of strange that all the Four movies came out '05, 2015. Now this is 2025. Like,
Mhm.
it's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
so we'll get the sequel to First Steps in 2035.
Yeah. So, or they'll reboot it again and then they'll do another one in 2035. So they'll do that one. So, this was directed by Tim Story, the '05.
Yeah. The Corman movie is off by 1 year. It was 94.
uh
94. Oh, okay. Yeah. So,
Broke the pattern just a little bit.
yeah. So yeah, we got that review. Also, do Sage's got a video game review for Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding 2. Him and Neil did a review for the first game a couple of weeks ago, so that was nice. And then do Superman 2025. Do a spoiler review for that right there, and also take a look at some bad reviews of Superman 2025 that be going around on the internet there, most notably Ben Shapiro's review there. Just take a look at his. Um, so do that, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, also Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. Almost forgot. Do a trailer reaction for that. Um,
yeah, Mortal Kombat 2. Finally, the character we all wanted to see the first time around.
yeah. So do a reaction to that. There were no other big trailers. I don't think that came out. Thinking.
One just dropped today for Predator Badlands.
Okay, we can do Predator Badlands. We can do that. We can do trailer reactions first. We'll do Superman
Okay.
spoilers. Then yeah, Fantastic Four, and then we do Death Stranding last, and then head out of here. So I'll pull up the trailers for Mortal Kombat and Predator Badlands there, and do that.
Yeah, if I remember right, I gave the 2021 Mortal Kombat a fairly okay review. I rewatched it recently and I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? Jesus.
Because you loved it this time, right?
But yeah, so
I don't know if
I
you
would
can
have given
I don't know
it.
if you can feel my hard stare through this Zoom call.
No, trust me. If I'd been there for it, I would have given it a waste of fucking film like day
uh
one.
yeah, I was just so hypnotized by how cool the opening was, which it was. Because
No,
that's
I'm with you.
easily the best shot action set piece in the whole movie, and nothing lives up to it. And I finally realized why. The same editor for that did Snake Eyes. The
Oh,
same editor. And thankfully, at least according to Lewis Tan on Twitter, that guy's gone for the sequel.
hmm. Well, and
um,
I would remember, but they released
Interesting.
that scene online like a week before the movie came out.
It's like,
And I remember
Joe,
watching it
it's
17 and
cool.
going, "Oh, well, okay, maybe we got something here," and then just off a cliff.
And
uh,
then the industry plant asshole Young walks onto the screen.
yeah.
Oh,
All right.
and I rue the day he was DLC in one of the games or something.
All right, let's check this out. Mortal Kombat 2 trailer came out there. And this is a what they call this one, the teaser trailer there.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think teaser trailer.
okay, and this is the red band version
Ooh.
of the trailer. So they did one that was at first a teaser trailer with just Johnny Cage, where it was like a
Oh.
parody of one of his movies, and then they came out a few days later with the Red Band trailer of the movie itself. And then they were getting to see Carl Urban, who is added to the cast here, who's going to be playing Johnny Cage. So let's take a look here.
Uno mas, thanks.
You're Johnny Cage. I loved Citizen Cage when I was a kid.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Now, some of these movies that they reference here that they talk about, are these movies that are like official for Johnny Cage? Like some of the movies that are also get referenced in the video game too?
They might bring up one or two. As far as I know, I don't think I remember Citizen Cage from any of the games, but they've also made up different ones like every game. So
Okay.
it's not like they use the same one every time.
In different games they make up like random titles. Even in a Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, where he's voiced by Joel McHale, they like had posters for a bunch of different named ones, all Cage puns.
I think the only one that I see keep coming back is Ninja Mime.
Oh, okay. And then they also did come out with a fake IMDb page for Johnny Cage. They did have that.
All of his movies are rated 6.9.
Yeah.
Which
doing a reboot.
Nice.
Nobody wants that. Shit went out in the 90s.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen to fight.
Tell me you're not some crazy fans. How are you doing that?
Are you coming or what?
Where the hell am I?
It's called Mortal Kombat.
Is that was that Wu-Tang in the background? That's like
it's like I think it's like the sample of the sample from Wu-Tang Clan, because I hear it too.
Yeah. So if play it back a little bit here.
Where the hell am I?
That is 100%. We don't Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
It's called.
And then you see Sonya right here, Sonya Blade. Then you also see Katana right here.
She's got her gnome.
Her gnome. Oh, wait a minute.
So she won her big fight in the first movie. She stuck a gnome in Kano's face.
Oh.
Right. I remember that's how she killed Kano.
Then you also see Katana right here, Mortal Kombat 2. And then Katana, I think, is played by the woman who's playing Sonya Blade, Jessica McName. And then you also have
and Katana is played by Adeline Rudloff from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. She was also in the Netflix Resident Evil show as the older version of, the young character she looked nothing like.
Yeah. She also looks nothing like the Melina from the first one, which is supposed to be her clone.
It's called Mortal Kombat.
Let me go back a little bit.
It's called Mortal Kombat.
So it looks like you are getting the tournament this time. So there actually is a tournament here. There is a more of a tournament here.
I would have thought that would have been a good idea.
So you are getting that.
It's a fighting tournament. To the death.
Fuck that.
This is a war for the fate of your world.
You dickheads in or what?
So there you go. You see Cole Young in this right here. Lewis Tan.
He's there for 2 seconds and 2 scenes, and he's not given any lines.
Yeah, you see him in the.
They're gonna kill him off in like the opening scene, the way they killed Johnny Cage off in the opening scene of Annihilation back in the 90s.
You see him. He's in the background right here. You see him. You see Kano as well. And then boom. I think this is the 2 parts you only see him in the trailer. I think are just right here. These 2 parts, but if I remember correctly from seeing this before, but it seems like the main focus with this trailer is just Johnny Cage. It seems like that's the main focus, and that's the big selling point, which a lot of people wanted to begin with. The first movie is to have Johnny Cage be the Avatar character there. You see that there. Introduction here. You got Jade here, who's played by Tatiana Gabrielle, who people might know. She was also in You. She was in that. She was also in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Speaking of another cast member from that show, she was also in that as well.
She's the star of the next big Naughty Dog game as well.
Yes, she's going to be the star of that one as well. There, a lot of people complaining because she doesn't have hair in this, so you see a more bald Jade. What do you think about that, Sage?
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, who cares? That's the most
Okay.
complaint. Like so. Like, every character has different hair in every game. Like these characters. Honestly, of all the video game franchises to complain about characters looking different, it's one of the worst ones to pick because they redesign these characters so drastically from game to game, anyways, that it's a stupid complaint.
Yeah,
Okay.
look at the change from what was it, Mortal Kombat, the one that was like the reboot, to like Mortal Kombat X. It was like the character design changes like every couple games.
They even have different actors that they're modeling their faces after in like every single game. It's like, yeah, it's never the same.
Yeah, it's like, one game you'll have like an actual voice actress or someone good for Sonya Blade, and then the next you'll have Ronda Rousey.
And Megan Fox in the last one put Ronda Rousey's performance on a pedestal.
Let's keep going.
I'm not some champion. I don't have Transformer.
There you go. We got Makai Brooks there. Back is there. Jackson Briggs there. He's got the arms. He doesn't have baby arms anymore there. He's got the full-fledged, mechanical arms there going on.
I better not hear the word Arcana in this movie one time.
Good to see him.
Arms. I'm not some champion. I don't have Transformer arms. Or shoot lightning bolts. This shit's got nothing to do with me.
There we go. Seeing Kang Gang right there. Got Liu Kang there, and also Shao Kahn right there.
I'm an actor.
I find you annoying.
Not the face.
And you got Baraka right there. Doesn't look the best, honestly. CGI wise, a little bit with Baraka.
I find you.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just the mouth that's really off. But these things probably get fixed in post. But everything else looks great.
Yeah, what do you?
I mean, I think it's maybe. I think it honestly looks like it would be like one of those creatures, but like in the background more. It doesn't maybe look as like memorable or like specific as like that character, but it looks like one of those things. Like one of those species for sure. And I think it was fine as that.
Annoying.
Not the face.
There's a war going on outside. You could run, but you can't hide forever, ever.
It's time to become the hero you were meant to be. All right, you big ugly fuck. It's showtime.
So is this what Scorpion like crawling out of hell or something? He's escaping hell?
Yeah, Scorpion in the Nether Realm.
Okay. All right. Oh, they got Noob Saibot in there. Okay, so they got Noob Saibot there, right there.
Get over here!
So I guess he learned some more English words because you see him speaking English a little bit early in the movie. So I guess he learned some more English other than "get over here." Because the whole movie he spoke nothing but English. But all of a sudden, when he said "get over here," that was in Japanese.
Yeah. 2019, he spoke only Japanese except for "get over here," which okay.
Only the strong survive.
Finish him!
Are you shitting me? You don't have any powers? Just incredibly handsome.
I'm sad we didn't get to see the split to the cock shot that is one of Johnny's favorite moves.
So, what do you guys think? Mortal Kombat 2.
I don't know. It for sure better, definitely better. We got Johnny Cage in there so that it doesn't feel like it's taking itself like completely seriously this time around.
Mhm.
But I still feel like the other characters that you're seeing, and I know we don't get a lot of them, but they still seem like they're being pretty serious. Whereas
Mhm.
when I think of Mortal Kombat, I really think of like pretty much every character either being outright like comedic or playing it straight in such an arch and over the top way that that is still in its own way funny. And I still just don't know if we're getting that.
Mhm.
And I also feel like it is just very desaturated, just very, very dark. And I think Mortal Kombat is being very colorful, like as violent as it is. It's very, very colorful and vibrant.
Mhm.
And there's a couple moments. I think there's that shot of the big blue portal that looks like a stage from the game. That looks actually pretty cool. But a lot of the costumes I feel like are just, I don't know, muted. Like they're almost like it's like comparing like the Jack Kirby art to the way the Eternals looked in the Eternals movie.
I guess Katana, she could be a little bit more bluer. She could be
Mhm.
a little bit more blue there.
Yeah,
Uh,
but that could also be like the lighting in the scene because I think it looks
Yeah,
the blue in her costume. There's another scene with her where she's fighting Jade, where I think it looks like a little bit brighter shades of blue.
that's fair.
uh,
That's totally fair.
like right here. Yeah, it looks
Mhm.
more blue here. Yeah, like more natural lighting. What do you think there, Nick?
Um, this looks like what I was really hoping we would get with the first movie because I think I was really disappointed on rewatching the first movie that kind of like what you were saying, Sage, is that more the charm of Mortal Kombat is this very over the top world that we see through the eyes of somebody like Johnny Cage, who is our audience avatar, who is like the perfect tailor made guy to call out how ridiculous all of this shit is. But everybody around him is playing it so straight that you're endeared to it that way. But you needed somebody, a character who's written with some kind of personality, which sadly, as much as I like Louis Tan as an actor, he was not given anything to do in the first movie besides just, exposition dump, get ass kicked,
Hmm.
have my
Gotta
unlock my
protect my family.
superpower of unlock superpower of literal plot armor.
Hmm. Yeah. Which there is almost zero focus on him in this. Like, absolutely. Like,
It's like the 2021 film was just proof of concept that okay, we can make a Mortal Kombat movie, and this is the one where they said okay, studios kind of laying their hands off because Cole Young was pretty much a studio mandate to have him be in
yeah.
Well, the weird thing about it too is like there's like 100 plus Mortal Kombat characters. Louis Tan could have played
it. Mm.
Kung Lao. He could have played Liu Kang. There's so many other things that you could have cast the same actor for that would have been a better character. I mean, and even the first one, I didn't, I wanted Johnny in the movie. I wish
Mhm.
Johnny had been in that movie. But even then, I think you still could have made a good Mortal Kombat movie without the
Mhm.
Johnny Cage character because again, Liu Kang could be the main character. Kung Lao could be.
Mhm.
There's all of these characters that
Yeah,
could be the main
yeah.
character.
It's like most of the Mortal Kombat games, Johnny Cage is our real lead character, but Liu Kang is like the one who is like destined to like fight in the finals.
Yeah, he's your classic hero kind of thing.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah. And I know you were nervous about Carl Urban playing Johnny
Yeah.
Cage. What do you think? You saw a little bit of him. He's doing an American accent. I mean, he's done an American accent before. He did
Oh
it
yeah.
with Bones and Star Trek. He did
Heck,
that.
look at most of his work in like the aughts and the 2010s. All the stuff that isn't the boys. He mostly plays American characters, and yeah, it is like yeah, the accent's good. I feel like he has the energy of Johnny Cage in some of the games I've played, and I'm looking forward to eating my words because I was one of the most vocal critics of Carl Urban's casting. I felt like he might have been too old, but with the take that they have on him, he's like this washed up action star. Is like, okay, I kind of see what you're going for,
Yeah.
and I'm curious.
Yeah, he has some solid charm down. I think he understands the character he's playing
Mhm.
very well. He clearly knows what this is. I still think there's a better movie out there somewhere where he is chewing the scenery as Kano. I really think that was the perfect casting for him.
as
But
as much as much as I kind of agree with that, I still love what Josh Lawson did in the first movie. He was like the only
he was
person giving
only
that
good.
movie life.
No, absolutely. And he seems like he's going to be the thing that holds this whole thing together, if it holds together. And also, it's hard not to enjoy Carl Urban and things. There are so many terrible movies I have seen that have not been fun to watch, except when then he would come on screen, and then I would be like, all right, I'm enjoying myself now. So
Yes,
even if this movie turns out
I
good-
also watched Doom.
exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so even if this movie is not good, I feel like it's going to be hard not to enjoy him in it.
Yeah. So you see that. So yeah, October 24th of this year is when it's going to be coming out there. I think it might be better than the first one, which isn't much of an improvement, but I think it's got that at least. Hey, you want to see, could always get that.
It's not a high bar to clear.
You know, they're gonna.
How well do you guys think this is going to do at the box office? Because I still think that the first one only did as well as it did with its audience because it was on HBO Max the same day as it was in theaters. So everybody that had access was like, well, I might as well watch this. I'm at home doing nothing else. But is that number of people going to really turn out to like a theatrical release for this?
Yeah, but even with the day and date with HBO Max, that was like one of the few movies that people still went out to the theaters to see.
Did they? Okay, all right. That's
because I think there was still a lot of nostalgia for the '90s Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah. So the
And
budget
even
on
in
this.
this trailer, they played the scream from the song from that movie at the end.
Of course, I mean you can't not play that.
The budget on Mortal Kombat 2021 was $55 million. Made a budget. It had a box office. I'm sorry, of $84.4 million.
Not bad.
Said about that. I think it'll do better. I think it'll. I could say getting a plus 100 million there. With this one there.
Yeah, it's all gonna depend on word of mouth and what the landscape looks like come October. Because I think outside of any big horror movies that come out during October, this is like one of the few bigger tent poles.
Yeah. So, and in October, I don't know. I don't think any other big things coming out towards the end of October. Not that I know of. So it might be good to soak up some cash there during that time slot. So yeah. So Mortal Kombat 2 trailer there. Let's move on. Let's discuss Predator Badlands there. So let's take a look at this trailer here. This is the new Predator movie coming out. There was a teaser trailer that happened a couple months ago, but now we have an official trailer here. There we got Elle Fanning in this. There, one of the recent Fanning sisters that we've seen out recently. All right, let's take a look at this trailer here. Predator Badlands. I'm gonna share my screen. Right there.
Now, if they could get the Predator in the Mortal Kombat movie,
now we're talking.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good there. I know he was already in the game already.
Yeah, I think he was in one of the games. Yeah,
he was in 10, I think.
Yep, 10. Yep, and Alien and Predator.
All right, let's go. They are kind of more in confirming that Predator Alien are in the same universe here. They're doing a full kind of crossover here.
Wow, who knew it? Who knew it would take a Disney buyout for groundwork to be laid for one of these?
Yeah.
So this is your first hunt. And you've come to the most dangerous planet in the universe. You're after a creature that can't be killed. The definitive apex predator. I could help you. Well, good luck with your journey. Here, you're not the predator. You're the prey.
Interesting kind of concept. We get a predator there. So I think with this movie, I know Nick probably know more than me. So it
Mhm.
seems like with this that you have a predator who's doing a like I guess a hunter's trial there of like
Mhm.
someone who's going to a planet to prove
Yeah,
himself
and
to fully become, I guess, a predator.
yeah, and like Yautja lore, there's like this rite of passage of their first hunt where you have to find the strongest thing you on whatever planet you land on and kill that to be considered a man on the Yautja planet. And
Mm.
there's more lore that's going to be that's explored in Predator Killer of Killers that I think Trachtenberg is confirmed is going to be expanded on in this.
It kind of looked like that, like, I don't know what the exact term they would use, like maybe a chieftain or something. It kind of looks like you see one of the like chieftains that you saw in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm trying to be
right here?
vague because I'm trying to be vague because I'm not sure if Josh has seen it.
Oh,
I've not
my
seen
bad. My bad.
Killer of Killers.
Oh,
Yeah. So
dude,
you talking about
it's so
uh,
good.
this character right here with the white?
Yeah, this character here who's whooping our protagonist's ass.
Okay, interesting. All right. And then Elfan is playing a android there from the alien kind of world that we see.
She's playing a Wayu synthetic who, if you can like focus on the case that she's in, it's bioweapons division. So who knows how she ended up on this planet? Maybe we get some connection to Alien.
No.
Knock down wood.
In the Killer of Killers, the Predators do they have subtitles? Like you can understand.
They do.
Okay.
There's
a bit of
there
that.
is a segment where you hear predators speak and you're on their planet.
Okay. And has that been done before, or if Killer of Killers that's the first time?
I think it's been done in like the Dark Horse comics and some of the Alien versus Predator comics, but I don't think it's been done in live action in none of the movies that we've seen.
Okay.
Well, let me retract that. Only briefly in the Shane Black 2018 Predator.
Oh, well, that doesn't count.
That was the one time.
That movie don't count. That's a nice, cool final image right there. Fight.
Yeah, that goes hard.
Fighting the shit under your bed was collect all the lint. With that going on. Dust ball there with spikes. Okay.
It's like a color corrected version of like one of those monsters from Attack the Block.
Oh yeah. One of those three.
We might not be alone in this hunt.
And that's like one of the like an Alien 2 Aliens. They got that.
Yeah, that's very reminiscent of the loader bot.
Yeah.
But bigger.
Yeah, but bigger. And I guess the bot's going against like the creature here. You can see it's going against the creature. Okay. So what do you guys think?
I mean, I'm excited. It's funny, even after, between Prey and then Killer of Killers, I'm still surprised to see that I'm looking forward to more Predator stuff. I feel like for the longest time, it was kind of a dead franchise to me, at least just in terms of whether I was enjoying them or not. But they, is that Dan Trachtenberg that's been directing these?
Yeah.
He's brought this franchise back with a vengeance. Prey, I thought was great. I really liked Killer Killers. Just watched that like 2 weeks ago. I love that they're building off of some of what's set up in that movie. I know it's slightly out of the way, but the Alien Earth show maybe seems to even have some connections to this, possibly with some of the sound effects they're using in the trailers for that. And like Nick, you said, it's amazing that it took Disney like owning these properties for this to happen. I'm like interested in both of these franchises in a way that I had not been in a very long time, and especially not when they had been making crossover films the first time around.
The Alien, the 2000, was it 4 or 5 Alien versus Predator?
Yeah,
it is fun in that kind of like kitschy. This is like a movie you'd put on TNT kind of way.
Yeah, totally.
Because you're kind of tricking your brain into thinking that the lack of gore and the lack of violence, that's just edited for TV. But nope, that's the actual movie.
Yeah.
But and like I'm more excited about the Predator franchise than I've been since leading up to the 2010 Predators, watching the first two with my dad. And yeah, Trachtenberg, does what I think for anybody trying to like revitalize a franchise, follow what Dan Trachtenberg has done with Predator, because Prey is absolutely incredible. And I'm still kind of mad that I didn't get to watch it for the first time in a theater. And I'm glad they're correcting that with Badlands. And Killer of Killers is incredible in its own right. It's this great animation, this look into the lore and the culture behind the Yautja that we haven't really seen before in any of the other movies. And I'm curious to see how this movie plays with Yautja being our protagonist.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
And Badlands, you get to experience it in IMAX. IMAX is there, so that's a great opportunity there. And this is coming out around the corner from Mortal Kombat. You got November 7th. So around the corner there, November 7th.
Yeah, Oscar season, baby.
Seeing this trailer, especially
best actor, Yautja Hunter.
And seeing this trailer honestly just reaffirms something I feel like I've been saying for years, but we need a Predator like God of War style video game. And that is a shame that has not happened yet. But maybe with this revitalization of the franchise that's happening, maybe we'll get something like that.
And this is the actor here who is playing the Predator. This guy right here. Demetrius Schuster Koala Matagi. There.
Kola Matagi.
Yeah, Kola Matagi.
All right, I haven't seen this actor before in anything, but I can't wait to see what he does in Predator.
Yeah. So he's going to be showing up here as Predator. Okay. Definitely. I mean, got the physicality for it. It looks good shape. Got the physicality for it there. So he's
they had to put him in. They had to put him in the makeup to try and tame down the power of that mustache.
Yeah, that's true. He's got a strong mustache there.
Yep, it's very powerful.
Want to pull like a
tame
Henry
it down.
Cavill and CG the mustache out.
So yeah, that's it. So people don't know who's playing the Predator. He is playing the Predator there. For people don't know. So there you go there. All right. So that was trailer talk. That was Mortal Kombat 2 and Predators Badlands right there. Awesome stuff. So coming pretty soon. October and November. Something for people to look forward to. All right. Gotta move on here. Gotta do the Superman review here. And do that. So let me pull up notes for that and get all that ready. Very nice.
Man. I don't know about y'all, but when I watched Superman in the theater, I left the theater wanting to be a better man.
Yeah.
I left wanting to, appreciating the sunshine a little more, wanting to, be kinder to the people around me.
All right. So
it's a good influence.
But then somebody at work talked some shit to me. Now I want to be a better hater.
Then you were inspired by Lex Luthor.
Yeah, like Ben Shapiro was.
Let's get into it. So, our first review of the day is going to be a spoiler review for Superman 2025, James Gunn's Superman there. Now, these guys didn't join me for the review of James Gunn's Superman there. I had some other guys on. I had Mike on from great works. I had Smash Trivia John on. I had Dusk on there. So these guys didn't give their initial thoughts of it. So I'll let them do that before we get into a full spoiler review of it. But just to give people a warning for that. I mean, the movie's been out for a couple of weeks now already. If people hadn't seen it, I know we're going to talk about it as well. But the box office of this movie is worrying some people. Is it enough? Is good enough there? Right now, it's at 409.3 million at the box office currently. So this, like I said, this has to be a big hit for DC, for Warner Brothers there, for them to do more of these movies. So we're going to do spoilers for this movie. We're going to discuss some of the future of the DC universe here after this under James Gunn, where we see it going next, any issues we had with it that we couldn't delve into deeper during the initial review, that I couldn't delve into deeper during the initial review. So, Sage, what are your initial thoughts? What is your kind of non-spoiler review of James Gunn's Superman?
Honestly, this is kind of the Superman movie I've been wanting for a long time. It is for me, a return to form for this character that has not been seen on the big screen in 43 years. Uh, just understanding these characters and their innate personalities and the way that they should be presented on screen and how they should interact with each other and the kinds of dynamics that they have in the world. Um, for a long time, I thought, hey, we're just never going to get that. It's just never going to happen. But the dark age is over, and I think this is leading us towards a brighter future. I have some quibbles here and there. I don't think it's perfect, but I would say that I really, really loved like 85% of the movie. I'd give it like a high tune in, low peak.
Okay. What about you then?
Yeah, me. I had the chance to watch this again yesterday with some coworkers of mine, and just talking about it with them after the movie, it made me realize that after Sinners, this is probably my favorite movie of the year so far. It's everything I've ever could have possibly wanted out of a Superman movie, and just an understanding of it from down to its writing to its casting by David Cornsweet, that James Gunn, he just fundamentally understands the DC universe and all of these characters in a way that hasn't been seen since the 73 Superman. In almost 40 years, we haven't seen a guy who behind the camera who understands and loves and respects all of these characters and all the inherent weirdness that comes with the world around them. I was a little bit worried with the announcements of how big the cast was, with the inclusion of Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, that this movie was going to be like too crowded for a Superman story. But this movie balances all of those characters so well, and all of it is like here to serve the symbol of inspiration and hopefulness that is Superman, that is this version of the character. It has, one of the few times it redeems not just Superman, I think, in the eyes of the public, but also Lois Lane, giving her an actual personality and character arc and purpose in the story besides hole for Henry Cavill's penis.
She feels like a journalist in this movie.
Yes, she's figuring shit out on her own. And also, I never knew I needed pussy hound Jimmy Olsen. Which I think is like just a stroke of brilliance. There are things in the story
He's really got a secret
harem. Yeah, there are things in the story. When I watched the movie for the first time, I thought, okay, this is gonna really piss some people off. But for what this movie is going for, with this whole theme that I think is in the trailer about your choices, your actions, that defines who you are. I think that was a beat in the story that needed to be there, especially because I think I saw it online. It's like the whole Batman and Superman dynamic. The reason Clark and Superman is the way he is because of that unconditional love he was taught by his human family, which I think are brilliantly played by Pruitt Taylor Vance and Neva Howell as Pa and Martha Kent.
Love them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything feels authentic to the real Midwest, to how they were portrayed.
So will be your rating?
Damn. The first time I saw this, I saw it at like one of the earlier showings on Thursday night, the week it came out. But the next day, I was gonna go out to see. But after I watched it the first time, I knew I couldn't sleep, so I went ahead and got myself a ticket on my A list and went back to the theater to watch it again with the crowd. And yeah, I watched it 3 times in the theater already, and yeah, this is one of my favorites of the year. I got to give this like very, very high peak. My few gripes with it are just keeping it from being cinema for me, but just for the first time in a very, very long time, it's not embarrassing to be a fan of DC, and and for that, just yes, it was like movies are back.
I feel you on that.
Reviews already out on YouTube right now. People want to check it out there, so get my full thoughts on it. I won't rehash too much already said there. But I give it a tune in. Give it a good tune in there. I think it is good. I think it's a good showcase there for Gunn and his new vision for the DC universe. I think it's a good start off with that. But he also said that a lot of these movies they will be different. They will all have a different tone there. They would fit with the character. They all just won't match the movie prior because it was successful. So I think that's good there. The next upcoming, you got 2 projects, I think, from DC coming out. DC Warner Brothers, 2026. That's the Lanterns show, and that is Supergirl. And they already have a poster out for Supergirl right now. Instead of look up, it's look out. Millie Alcott there, which was one of the surprise things in the movie. There, you do see her as Supergirl in this Superman film here.
Can I just say, with a very short amount of screen time, honestly, in years, one of my favorite just immediate characterizations of any character that has just walked on screen and shown you their personality. Very
yeah, and all of a sudden, all of Crypto's behavior in the movie makes complete sense because she's an irresponsible pet owner to a spoiled boy dog.
And it recontextualizes just how good of a person Superman is being in the movie because this dog that he is annoyed by.
Oh yeah, it was like
it
was like if I was Superman, 1 week with Crypto and he's going to the pound.
So that's coming out there next year, 2026. You do have
I believe the second season of Peacemaker is like a couple weeks away from right now.
Yeah, and that is directly connecting to this. You see in the trailer, you see Max Lord, who's played by Sean Gunn, and of course Guy Gardner and Kendra Saunders.
Yeah, Elizabeth Marcet is also going to be in Hawkgirl as well. There, showing up there. So spoiler. So this is people haven't seen the movie. We are going to get into spoilers. There's spoiler talk with this. All the big reveals, all the big things that happen in this movie. And we'll just go kind of one by one with them. So I think one of the biggest reveals of the movie there with this James Gunn is the reveal with the parents. So you had Jor-El there, who's played by Bradley Cooper, who when I first saw it, I was like, is that Bradley Cooper? Is it not Bradley Cooper? I was kind of like, wait, is that him? But it is Bradley Cooper who does play Jor-El in this. And I guess it continues the streak of having kind of pretty popular actors play Jor-El. Like you had Marlon Brando, you had what's his name, Russell Crowe there, who played Jor-El in Man of Steel, and then you had him there, and then you also have Laurel there, who's played by Angelina Saffron there, who people at first thought was Lady Gaga. They said, "Oh, is that Lady Gaga?" I guess because they thought like, "Oh no."
I kind of thought that for a second too, but no, it's Angela Seraphine, who I think most people would recognize from Westworld.
Yes, she was in Westworld there.
Oh, okay, just clicked for me. Yep.
Yeah, she was in that there. So yeah, people remember. Yeah, she was in that. Yeah, so there's a message that gets played in the movie there that Superman. You have him who he's getting treated by the Superman robots. He says, "Oh, I love this message." It plays to soothe him there during his times of crisis. But the message he said got damaged in transport, so he only like a part of the message he is able to hear. The rest of it is all corrupted. But when Lex, who breaks into the Fortress of Solitude with the engineer and with Ultraman, the engineer is able to hack into the computer of the Fortress of Solitude and decode the rest and able to uncorrupt the rest of the message. And then that gets played there. And that's one of the things Lex uses to ruin the image of Superman. And this is a controversial thing that people are, some people are not liking it. Some people are liking it. It's pretty divisive. The rest of the message yeah, you have the first part of it that says like, hey, do
Like,
good
yeah,
things, and you're
yes,
meant to.
no, it's like, yeah, we love you more than Earth, but Krypton is gone. You'll have to live on Earth to do the most good. Now,
Yeah.
notice they didn't say good for who.
Mm, yeah. And then the rest of the message is, collect the harem and spread your
Yeah, it's
genes
like,
and
yes, my son, you must find the one known as Jimmy Olsen. He'll show you the way to get bitches.
uh, and yeah, I mean, so it's like this of like, you got to rule over people.
Yes,
These are simple.
kill anyone who stands in your way.
These are simple folk. And you have to be the true leader, and then get rid of anyone who gets in your way there.
Mhm,
Um, Sage, you're a big comic book reader. I mean, there's been many adaptations of
mhm,
Superman. Has that been already something that's happened in the comics already?
I honestly barely registered it as a big deal
mhm.
until I heard other people talking about it
Yeah,
being
and
a
yeah,
controversy.
yeah. A lot of the comics of Superman I've read, from what I gather, we didn't really delve much into the background of Jor El on Krypton until Superman 74, until Marlon Brando. Of course, he's
Yeah.
one of our great actors. Of course, they're gonna give him something like that, and they want to have him be one of the inspirations for Clark to do good, but I think just on a story perspective, having having Kryptonians, especially because in the comics, like 99% of the other Kryptonians we meet besides Kal-El and Kara are assholes. They're basically just Viltrumites.
Yeah, that's
So
honestly
I
pretty
think
common.
so I think on that level, because you want so much of the point of Superman is that him being raised on Earth by John and Martha Kent, that is the reason why he is the way he is. That is the
Yeah,
reason why he is so kind to people.
Mm,
yeah, I think it totally works in this movie, especially because you do have such a big cast and you have so many
Mhm,
elements going on. Keeping that role of his Kryptonian parents in a kind of small capacity with a big impact like that, I think
mhm.
that's a smart choice, honestly. If anybody spent time watching Smallville, Jor-El is kind of a terrible person in
Yeah,
that show.
I think that was like one of the first times they ever flirted with that idea uh of Clark's Kryptonian parents having more ulterior motives.
Yeah.
mm,
And even in some recent comics, this is probably about 3 or 4 years ago at this point, but Superman, they gave him a probably 6, 7, 8 year old son named Jonathan, and they had the thing where they kind of brought Jor-El into the story in the present day, and he like first thing he did was kidnap the kid, go off to space, and then come back with him as like an adult and like take his entire childhood away from Superman. So like that's recent comic book history even. Now I'll say my favorite depiction of Jor-El is the animated series, which does depict him in a much more heroic way. But I don't think there's anything wrong with playing with the morality of a character
Mhm,
who like let's just say we someday we get the end game of James Gunn's DC in 10
mhm.
years. Who is going to even look back and be thinking about how Jor-El was handled in these adaptations? Like it's just there to make an interesting point about why Superman is the way he is, and otherwise I don't think we need those characters to matter all that much. I
Uh-huh.
really have no
Yeah,
problem with
and
that.
in terms of Superman lore, uh Jor-El is like barely even a footnote
Yeah.
as far as like the impact that he has in like most of the Superman stories that I've read. And the real importance of the whole message is, you know, it's what Jonathan Kent says in this movie. It's like, yeah, what you took away from that message says more about you than what they meant it to be.
Yeah. And if you play the message a little bit longer, he tells him to let a bus full of kids drown.
Yes, and even has end credits on that message. Is just face down, ass up. That's the way we like the book.
But yeah, that seems like a big thing that people are talking about there with the decision. I don't really mind it personally,
Mhm,
with the whole reveal with his parents. I do think one of the issues with the movie I pointed out in the review is that there are a lot of plot points in here. Some things that could be its own movie, like stuff with
mhm,
the reveal with his parents, that could be its whole movie, that him reckon with that decision, and
Mhm.
that's a pretty
Well,
life altering
well,
thing there.
well, in a sense, you get that in the like right before the third act, after he breaks free from the Pocket universe and he's back on the Kent farm.
Which is one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah, it's the. I think it's there's a lot you could like pick out of this movie and say this is probably the best scene of the film, and I think the emotional climax is here with between Corn Sweat and Pruitt Taylor Vance.
Mm. So that's one. So yeah, I didn't mind that at all. With that kind of reveal there, and then some people even still going like, no, it was fake. It was corrupted. The
No,
message
they
was,
no, they,
he
they
manipulated the
the
footage.
movie does basically everything to tell you is like, no, the message is real. You have Lex on basically this world's Tucker Carlson being like, yeah, it's been verified by like how many language and computer experts. You have Mr. Terrific say, yeah, I know those guys. They're not going to say it's legit unless it is legit. Even Lex with Gurkos, the Barovian dictator, is like, nope, it's not fake.
Yeah, and then James Gunn even addressed this same thing that Nick was talking about here in the interview here with Josh Horowitz, where they talked about, there's some people going like the validity of the message, and they're like, no, it's fake, right? His parents didn't really.
That's something that did cross my mind. Is like, is it possible that they're like mistranslating it?
Yeah, but let's see, James Gunn. So here you go, James Gunn. Just as like what Nick was said, that no, the message is real, and he has multiple sources in the movie to confirm that it is real.
Probably you already, is about Jor-El and Lara's message. Is it real? Has it been doctored? Is that the actual
How
message?
can someone not think it's real?
I'm just saying.
How can someone, I don't understand. Like, we did this. So in the test screens, people were like, is it real? With AI, nobody trusts anything. Okay. In the movie,
You make a point of saying,
he said,
Mr. Terrific says it's real.
Mr. Terrific says, I know those computer forensics guys. There's no way. That's Mr. Terrific. Smart as Lex Luthor. Then I have Maury, the Secretary of Defense, say, I think whatever you think about Luthor, but it's real. And then the clincher is that Gurkos and Lex are walking together.
Right.
And, Gurkos says, you doctored a message. This is great. And Lex says, it's not a message. It's not doctored.
Right.
It's real. And who thought his own parents would be the ones to bring him down?
Okay. We just clarified.
So there you go. He says, yes, it is real.
And I think people now are like online talking about, okay, all right, it's kind of convenient that half of the message got damaged in transit, and we might see something like that get addressed in a sequel or possibly even Supergirl, because so much of that comic it's based on, it's reconciling how different Kara is as a person from Clark. And that because Kara came to Earth in most canon as a teenager. She grew up on Krypton.
Yep.
So that's one of the big things there. So I like it. And then, like you said, he didn't have to have a special message to give him purpose. He already had that purpose inside of him already that made him want to do good, instead of having that. Because normally, like you said, you see it in other adaptations where Jor-El gives him that as this destiny, and he becomes Superman after hearing that.
And especially in Man of Steel, where if the John Kent in that movie had its way, he'd just be fucking off in the middle of nowhere doing fuck all while thousands of people die around him, like he does in the movie.
Yeah.
Exactly 11 9/11s.
Yes, he just aura farms while thousands of people die around him.
Another kind of big reveal in this movie. So you see him. So you have Lex's henchman in the movie there, who's the engineer, who some people are saying that turns into a good person later on, like especially in the comics.
The engineer. She's a character from The Authority, which was one of the other projects that was announced when James Gunn did his big rollout of The Authority was going to be a feature film, and she's a character from that.
Okay.
Imagine like a whole team that thinks like the Punisher.
Okay. And then you also have Ultraman in this, who we see in the mask mostly just through the whole time until the reveal towards the end of it, where it's a clone of Superman. And then somebody was also saying that possibly that Mr. Handsome, who's the character that's controlling, that's a conductor in the Pocket universe, was also maybe a clone of Superman, but they got messed up there.
Yeah, it's like
Did you guys notice that he's got a
oh,
framed
he's got
photo of
he's got a
Mr. Handsome
framed
on his
photo of
desk?
Mr. Handsome.
Oh,
when Clark
Yeah.
goes in yelling at him about crypto, there's a framed picture of that weird creature on Lex's desk.
oh, I did not notice that. Okay. So I don't know if that if he had confirmed. I haven't seen if he confirmed that.
Friggin' Eve was taking selfies with Mr. Handsome too.
When I first saw it for like 5 seconds, I was like, I thought it was a white Russian.
Yeah, that came across my mind, but I pretty much clocked that it was gonna be a Superman clone. Like the second they got into the Fortress of Solitude, I was like, okay, it's a clone.
Well, the Superman and Lois show did something kind of similar where, they kind of do a little bit of
they did a Bizarro. Bizarro universe where they had like a whole ass of alternate dimension, which, for all of you, comic readers, it's like that might come up later.
Yeah, well, especially, Lex makes a Pocket universe in this movie, and then this Ultraman clone goes through the black hole in that Pocket universe. That seems like a pretty good lead-in to me.
Yeah. Which makes me think, so if he's cloned Superman, why couldn't he just do an image search of his face and then see like through records of who Superman is?
Well, because Lex is kind of like so narcissistic and so single-minded on Superman that he doesn't even really see Clark Kent. In like most comics, he actually like kind of likes and respects him as a journalist. But and also they drop in this that Clark Kent in his like daily disguise wears hypno glasses, which is a deep cut from like one of the comics where they make his face look different while he's wearing them.
Yeah, that's old school stuff.
Yeah, which even in comics, I'm like, one of my headcanons is that that Clark was just tired of Guy asking about it, so he made that up.
He just told him that. That's good. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So you do have that again,
and also this is like one of the first times I legitimately buy somebody believing the Clark Kent in Superman disguise, because Clark, in the very brief scene we see of him at work at the Daily Planet, he looks like every broccoli-haired teenager you see at the gym.
Yeah.
Well, and it feels like, and I think Christopher Reeves was the only actor to really try to do this before, but it does feel like, again, we don't get that much of it, like you just said, but when that little bit we do, it feels like he's playing it as a different character. Like it does feel like he's doing something to accentuate the personality.
Yeah, and to an extent, I kind of see that when he's at the Daily Planet, where he speaks in a much lower register than he normally does. He like kind of hunches over, even though he's built tall as like 6'5" and built like a brick shithouse. Yeah. It's kind of like the all-star Superman, where he would like purposely hunch himself and like make himself look smaller and goofier.
Yeah, his secret identity is it's always been more than glasses, right? It's a performance that he puts on, and
when it's done well.
When it's done well, but even in the background in the movie, when Lois is talking in that scene, and Clark and Jimmy are like smacking each other with the newspapers. There's this like goofy and I love that we see them as actually being best friends, because I feel like you never get that in adaptations. But they're goofing off.
I mean, Zack Snyder just shot Jimmy Olsen in the head 2 seconds after he's introduced. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, you didn't even know that was him until like an interview after the movie.
No, until the fucking director's cut where they actually say.
Yeah. So yeah, you got that. So he is Ultraman, which I think that was kind of a big reveal that he, Lex made a whole clone out of him there.
It's kind of like a Winter Soldier situation where it's only a twist really if you don't read comics.
Yeah.
And so and then also kind of gives the explanation, because people say Superman was getting his ass kicked a lot in this, so it kind of gives the explanation of why he had such trouble fighting, this character. And plus, also Lex didn't know all his moves. I mean, it was also that.
Yeah, he's been studying him for years.
The man had a playbook of 2,500 moves, one of which is just kick him in the balls.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what, too, to the point that people are making about like, oh, he gets beat up so much in the movie. This is also like the opening of the film. One of the first things that you
Yeah,
were
it's like it's like
his first fight that he lost. So you're seeing
Yeah.
him at the first like low point he's had in his 3-year career. So of course he's kind of getting his ass kicked. It's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you don't think?
Which so much of why I think a lot of people have a hard time writing for Superman, because they think, oh, the character is so powerful, how can you like introduce stakes to it? And in the whole point of Superman, especially in comics, is like he is the strongest person on the universe in most of those stories, but that forces every character around him to get creative, and Superman is constantly holding back.
Yep. Well, plus there's also like I could list a whole set of things that are like automatically go past his invulnerability too.
Yeah. So you see a lot of you see him bleeding, you see him down and out in this. So
yeah, you see, he loses his first fight with the Hammer of Baravia, which is Ultraman in disguise, and then he loses his second fight with Krypto.
So you had that. Let's talk a little bit about the Justice Game. That was some of the worry that coming into this movie, that you have all these other additional characters that they might take away focus from Superman. Did you have any of that? Do you feel like it took away any focus from Superman, or you think? Yeah.
No, not at all. Because the Justice Gang, at least how they're portrayed here, they're like these corporate sponsored superheroes. They're a little bit more cynical compared to Superman, but that's also the point. Is like later they're kind of like the guys who, it's like they believe they're buddy, but they also don't want to like rock the boat. But in the end, it's Superman and like his symbol that calls them to do the right thing in Baravia.
Yeah, it honestly reminds me of concerns people had, and then I think proved to be totally unfounded, of Captain America: Civil War. I remember when that was coming out, a lot of people were like, "Oh, but there's so many other characters. It's like, is Captain America gonna really feel like as significant as he should in his own movie?" And I think it's outcome wise very similar to that, where I think the balance is great. Like they don't take up that much time in the movie. They're there, they support when they need to, but they're there to service his character. And I mean, also, I am a really big Green Lantern fan. I've got about 50 books of just Green Lantern on my shelf behind me, and it was very, very satisfying to see good Green Lantern in live action for absolutely the very first time. I cannot tell you how special that felt.
And also a perfect portrayal by Nathan Fillion, who Guy Gardner is the most insufferable Green Lantern, but he's so much fun to watch. I think a lot of that is because of Fillion.
Guy Gardner it's that balance of insufferable but like kind of charming.
He's kind of like he's kind of like if Rob Corddry from Hot Tub Time Machine was a superhero.
That's very accurate.
So you got Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner there. Fillion as Guy Gardner. You got also you got Elizabeth Marced as Hawkgirl, and you have Eddie Kathengi as Mr. Terrific, who for a lot of people was the MVP. Stole the show.
He gets kind of like the signature. The signature spin around the subject oneer that I think has become synonymous with James Gunn's style. You kind of see it in the Guardians movies, and you saw it a bit in Suicide Squad, where he gets that oneer where Lois is inside a shield of one of the T-spheres, and of course you get the needle drop and him whooping ass, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, I really think coming away from this movie that Mr. Terrific is going to be for like general audiences kind of the big breakout character, the way that like Groot and Rocket Raccoon were for the Guardians movies, where people they have no familiarity with any of this stuff beyond what's been in a movie before.
Yeah,
this is going to be the character that sells tons of merchandise.
Yeah, it was like
cannot wait to see again.
Yeah, Mr. Terrific, I think for a lot of general audiences, he is kind of in that B-list DC character where, not a lot of people know about him. They've like seen him on Arrow on the CW. They've seen him in like maybe one of the Injustice or Justice League animated movies, but this is definitely a big breakout for this character.
and a redemption arc for superhero movies for this.
Oh
actor.
yes, for Eddie Gathegi, who's was the character in X-Men First Class whose whole superpower was he couldn't die, except the studio realized he was black.
Yeah, they literally did the like horror movie trope in an action film with him.
And this is the shot right here.
And one of my favorite things about them is that, with a character like Superman leading this movie, it's so tempting to, paint the Justice Gang as like, yeah, these are the dangerous, these are the guys that aren't good at their jobs, they're only getting by corporate sponsorship. But the movie makes it clear is like, no, the Justice Gang are pretty good at their jobs. Like,
and that's pulling from Justice League International, which was a long run of comics itself.
Yeah, they're fairly competent. They, held their own with the kaiju, and I think one of the early teaser images of David Cornsweat the suit was this dimensional imp that's just in the background during this whole very emotional conversation between Clark and Lois before he decides to turn himself in. But no, they got the shit handled. I was like, you helping him out over there? No, that's just a dimensional imp. They got it.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear the like cartoon bonk sound effects that were coming from the bat? I thought that was great.
And yeah, in DC Comics, most of the dimensional imps are just kind of like, a gnat. It's only like it's only Batmite and Mixospitalik that are really you gotta worry about.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know Sage, you had a big problem with this character right there. And
honestly,
yeah,
I'll say it. That was hot.
You're a fan of the war cry, I guess you would call it, or Hawk Scream, or
hey, yeah, I don't mind the Hawk Scream. I mean, hey, anyone that's gonna murder a dictator, I'm like, it's like, what's up, girl?
Yeah.
So this does come to one of the few things about the movie that didn't work for me.
Okay.
And I'm not totally out on her in the part either. I think she had the least screen time, I think, of the Justice Gang characters. So I am still in it remains to be seen whether I fully like this take on the character. I did not care for the war cry thing. I didn't love the weird zoom in that they would do with it. But the bigger thing is, I also just feel like this is Black Canary's thing, and I don't know why you're giving it to another bird themed character when it's like specifically what Black Canary does. So
Black Canary uses that as one of her weapons. Hawkgirl just is like, that's her war cry.
I've also read a lot of the Hawk comics and stuff, and again, you can do different things, and I'm not saying you can't, but it's also just never been a thing that I've seen in any versions before, and so it just, to me, it was just a little weird. I just didn't love that. But again, I'm not like totally like out on her and the take on the character in general. I need to see more, and part of it is just because I feel like she did get the least to do out of everybody. And so I need to see a little more characterization before I decide which way I'm landing on that one.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's possibility. I don't know. They are announcing spinoffs of this. There's a Jimmy Olsen spinoff coming. There's a Mr. Terrific spinoff coming.
She's gonna be in Peacemaker season 2, so maybe after I've seen that, I'll be like, okay, you know what? I'm here.
Yeah, she is gonna be in Peacemaker season 2. I don't know. They might do a Justice Gang spinoff film there, just about them. We have a new member of the Justice Gang. We have, even though they don't call him Metamorpho in it, they think just call him like Elemental Man.
Yeah, they call him the Element Man or just his name Rex. But Metamorpho, who's played by Anthony Carrigan from Barry, who I think is robbed of several Emmy nominations for that show.
Yeah,
and he's been generally, even in some other stuff, I feel like in bit parts I've seen him in, but even before that, I feel like he's generally been underappreciated. But they do very briefly, when Lex is describing how his powers work, he does say he can metamorphize when he's like saying what he can do. They kind of whipped it in a little bit, but
yeah, and all the stuff online. Yeah, practical costume that looks phenomenal, especially in motion, and and also it's Anthony Kerrigan, who's one of our great character actors, and who gets so much to do, even though so much with so little. Because even though he plays a huge part in this, as especially in the whole segment where Superman's locked in the pocket universe, you get why he connects so well with Clark. And it's because of Lex's own fucking hubris that, he's in the situation that he's in at the end of this movie.
So this is great.
And that did lead in
This entire time I just kept picturing Metamorpho doing the 50-50 with Cristobal Dance from Barry.
Well, and so this leads me to one other small quibble I had in the movie, and maybe I would just get used to it over time. I don't know, but the baby Joey thing did really throw me for a loop, because it's a big, long-standing part of Metamorpho's character. His love interest, Sapphire Stag. They even, when Superman is kind of contemplating the reveal of the video with Jor-El, and Justice King comes and talks to him in that building. You even see the reflection of Stag Industries, like on the surface of where he's standing. And you see Sapphire Stag watching the TV with him later in the film. But I was surprised that they didn't just have her be the person being held hostage in all the glass cages. Now there is a deep cut child that they have together, but when you go and you look at the way that what that kid looks like as a kid, it just it looks like Metamorpho but a baby. And the weird green almost Shrek baby thing that they went with, that really threw me for the loop. I'm not going to say I outright disliked it, but it was oh wait, what are you doing moment at the very least.
Yeah, and for anyone calling Superman depowered in this movie, the man fought through this pocket dimension with a baby in hand, beat all of Lex's goons, and blew himself, Crypto, and Metamorpho back from a black hole with just his breath after
being carried in the river, which was supposedly would just rip anyone else apart or rip a normal human being to pieces. He's in that thing for a while, and it's not doing
that baby got better protected than the fucking baby at the end of Squid Game.
So yeah, I mean, and what I like about this kind of movie is that it kind of just jumps you right into everything, like pocket universes, interdimensional creatures, all these type of characters. I mean, powers,
Yeah, and we say this all the time when it comes to, a lot of comic book movies, but especially with, something like Spider-Verse. But if those have the artistic style and flair of a comic book, this has the storytelling mechanics feel of a comic book, where you're just dropped right into this middle of the story. You don't get a whole lot of exposition. Gunn, I think, is made enough of these kinds of movies to trust audiences to put 2 and 2 together about how things work in the world.
And I'll tell you, I have a really good friend of mine who's even come on the show to talk about stuff like Three Body Problem before. She moved to the States in college, but she's from China originally, and she doesn't really know much of anything about DC or the universe or the characters really. I think she's seen maybe a Batman movie, but that's kind of it. And she didn't feel lost at all watching this. All of it made sense and all of it was click. I think this might be the first Superman thing she's ever seen, and she didn't really come out of it with any major questions. So I think that tells you just how good a job he did at making it easy to understand what's going on.
Yeah. I've seen some other people go like that, who people go well, I don't really watch a lot of superhero movies or anything like that, but this one, they said, yeah, I love the comic book feel of it and the colorfulness of it, and reminded them of Sam Raimi Spider-Man or something like that. So it just so I was kind of worried about that, of people who were dropped into this world, how well the people adjust to it, all these different things going on, all these different characters and powers, and how does all this work? But it seemed like a lot of people didn't have really too much of an issue with that, which I liked a lot. And then we got to talk about the true hero of the movie, the person that is the MVP, Miss Tessmacher, who is the true hero of this movie here and everything.
It is really funny to me that, for a character that was introduced in the Christopher Reeves movies, right? Who's not from the comics originally, has continued to be such a mainstay in the film adaptations. Like there's and even he didn't have a lot of screen time, but even one of the other henchmen that was like operating stuff in the control, yeah, Otis. I was like, even that character coming back from the from the original Richard Donner films was it's fun just to see that had such a lasting impact. But no, I enjoyed her quite a bit. I thought she was both funny in the earlier parts of the film, and I thought the way that they made her important with her photos was actually pretty clever.
Yeah. You thought it was just gonna be like a throwaway gag that she was just gonna be a selfie,
totally.
IG girl, and then it's like turns out that she was collecting all this information through her selfies that nobody was paying attention to her, so she was able to do all that, which I thought was very good. I thought that was kind of very interesting.
Eve is like one of my favorite subversion of expectation characters because she's played so much as like just the ditzy blonde girlfriend that Lex keeps around just to make him look good. But she's kind of the MVP of taking him down.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty clever the way they did that. So that's what she. So
and
she sends.
Treat your women right because there's a Jimmy Olsen out there. It's like when you put it down so good, you're willing to risk getting locked in a pocket dimension for it.
And that was played by Sarah Sampaio. Is the character there? As the actress, they played Miss Eve Tessmacher in it. And so she's able to send this information to Jimmy, and then Lois does a lot of investigative work there of like what's Lex's real motivation, and through these photos she's able to determine like, okay, he wants to buy this piece of land that he's manufacturing this war between Boravia and Jarhanpur, so he can take a piece of the land and rename it, and then part of Jarhanpur has like all these oil refinery. I think it was oil, right, or something. Or,
it's like petroleum deposits that they mentioned. It's like it's oil.
Yeah, and then so he's able to collect that, and that'd be.
And he's promised half the country.
Which
you can see Luthoria on the map.
New
Luthoria, which I mean, come on.
Yeah. So, which also was something.
Solution.
Yeah. Which in the comics, in Lex's business, is it like a tech business or is it a real estate?
Lex
is somewhat.
Lex Corp or Luthor Corp as it's called in here. It kind of varies like throughout the comics. Is like they're kind of like in a bit of everything.
Okay.
And it's changed over the years. It's really just like what is like
what does this story need, right, for this like company need to be for this story?
Absolutely.
Gotcha. So that's part of his plan, even though that's not really. I mean, he doesn't really care about the country too much. He just cares about Superman above all else.
Yeah, it's like that is some like once in a generation hater kinds of things. It's like I'm not killing you so the military conflict can go on. I created the conflict to have an excuse to kill you.
And I like that you called attention, Nick, to the name of the company being slightly different. It's usually LexCorp in the vast majority of things. And I saw James Gunn say something about that too. Because do you know what the only other thing that it's called Luthor Corp in is?
Smallville.
And he said, we did that because we wanted to leave the door open to potentially explore his relationship with his father in the future.
Yeah, and that's something that doesn't really get explored a lot in the comics, or at least in most adaptations.
Yeah. So it says I'm a Smallville fan. Most people don't name their corporation after their first names. Also, it leaves the door open for his father in any way a part of a part of this, or his mother. That going on. So you have that. So he gets taken down by that. Where would you rank Nicholas Holt's performance as Lex Luthor amongst live action Lex Luthor?
In film number one, easily, I think by far. As much as I think Gene Hackman is such a great actor, and it's a great character in that film.
He's hamming it up. He's really hamming it up.
It's kind of, to me, that Lex Luthor is almost kind of. I put it with like Cesar Romero's Joker, like the Adam West Batman villain sort of thing. for film, yeah, number one. I do still kind of like Michael Rosenbaum's just a bit more. I think he has so much depth, and it's the advantage of getting to play a character for
Yeah.
seasons and seasons. So that's not me holding it against the film in any way, because I think this is easily the most comic accurate Lex Luthor you've ever seen on screen. Easily.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I love him. I think he's really great. He's aggressively
Yeah,
bald, as I mentioned before, because he
Yeah,
like
having Lex played by an actor who lost his audition to play Superman is kind of a stroke of genius.
oh,
Yep. Yes, it
so
is.
it's kind of like a repeat when Tom Hiddleston auditioned to be Thor, but then he became Loki instead.
It's very similar.
exactly.
Very similar.
Okay. So yeah, that. And then I think we also said I mentioned before earlier in this review, one of the big parts of this that I don't think people were expecting. You have Millie Alcock who flies through the Fortress of Solitude. There, introduction to her, who we already know.
I love it.
Yeah. And I think they said the setup for her is going to be Woman of Tomorrow. I think. That's
It's a great book.
That fantastic book by Tom King. Tom King is one of those guys who is like consistently inconsistent, I think, as far as his writing goes. But when he hits, it is pure brilliance.
Yeah, so there's a few books of his that are like award winners. Like you can't miss them if you're a comic fan.
I'm one of the rare people that I love his Rebirth first 3 volumes of his run on Batman. I really like
I actually liked him
that 3 run. I love Woman of Tomorrow. That's like one of my
favorite of his books. If I don't know if you've read it or not, but Mr. Miracle, I cannot recommend enough to people.
Yeah, another project that got announced for Gunn as an animated show.
Yep.
So, and apparently in this, he's also like portrayed as like a drunken party girl in Woman of Tomorrow.
Yeah, which I feel like because so much of the general audience perception of Supergirl is like greatly hurt by the 90s movie and by the CW Supergirl, where they took a lot of what was interesting about Kara and just made her a gender swapped Clark Kent.
That's exactly what they did. she's a reporter. She works at like a rival newspaper. It's like the same thing.
She's got the hots for, hot Jimmy, for, network TV hot Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
The Abercrombie and Fitch model Jimmy Olsen.
Jax Briggs. She's got a crush on Jax Briggs. Which I think they dropped after like the first season. They had like eventually.
They remembered it's like, a black man dating a white woman. We're not doing that here. He's a little.
He became like the Guardian, right, or something.
Yeah, he became Guardian, which was like another. Yeah. That was just because. I mean, come on. McCall Brook lives in the gym. You can't have him be that built and not give him some action stuff.
Well, and it's also such a product of those CW shows that every supporting character of every single show's cast also has to be a superhero at some point until every single character in the show all are.
Yeah, which honestly, with this movie, I'd buy this Jimmy Olsen as being a massive pussy hound. Because I buy Skylar Gisondo as having that kind of riz.
I think that's what's great about it, because I feel like Jimmy's been like that for a long time.
I mean, most of like Jimmy Olsen's comics arcs are accidentally coming across world-ending threats, and even now in the comics, he's dating Silver Banshee.
Yep. And I feel like it's always better if he's not like super conventionally model attractive, because you almost want people to be like, oh, really him? He's got, okay, well, I guess. You want that reaction. You don't want a guy to be Jimmy that is like, well, of course he is getting all of this. Like you don't want it to be so obvious. You want it to be a little bit like,
you gotta want to be surprised. You want to be surprised when you hear that, that guy pulls.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny because when he's standing next to Eve, like Eve is towering over. He's kind of like, especially
when she grabs onto him.
He's repping the short kings everywhere.
Yeah,
I thought she was gonna pull him to the ground when she was like jumping on him at the end.
But yeah, so I'm excited for Woman of Tomorrow. I think Millie Alcock, what she does there with Supergirl.
Yeah, I've loved everything I've seen Millie Alcock in. I really love the the first arc of House of the Dragon, where I think is where she gets the most to do, because that role gets recast. And I liked what I've saw on that Netflix show Sirens, where she's playing opposite Megan Fahey.
Mm.
What do you think there? Are you excited there?
Yeah, I can't wait. Like I said at the beginning, it's honestly it's one of my favorite like character introductions in a movie I've seen in a long time, because with how little screen time she has, you'd think you wouldn't get that much of a feel for her personality. But because it's handled so well, I feel like you get such a strong impression. If I hadn't, I was already looking forward to the movie.
Yeah,
because of but I'm that much more looking forward to it.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I was already looking forward because of the book it's based on, because you're getting Jason Momoa as Lobo, which, okay, why wasn't he cast as that character from Jump? But also
thought he was going to be.
But also that it's directed by Craig Gillespie, who directed I, Tonya, and one of my surprise favorite comfort movies with Cruella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I think I've told this story on the podcast before. Is like when we were reviewing Cruella, I was like on the train living in Japan at the time, and when they got to the scene where the Dalmatians kill Cruella's mom, I remember I made a joke like a year before that. I mean, okay, what are they going to give her backstory? Is it Dalmatians killed her mom? And I was like, I had to close the movie because I couldn't stop myself from laughing so hard. I was like, oh my God, I was kidding. And he's one of these directors who I've either liked or loved everything I've seen him do. And I can't wait to see what he does with something like with Supergirl.
What's also interesting too is so Lobo is not in that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow book, but he was in the original pitch for the book, and then he was taken out in favor of a different character. So now adding him into the movie is pulling from like the original pitch of that comic. And I don't know how they'll handle it, but I kind of hope he's selling her drugs at a party.
That I buy so hard. And even like when James Gunn and Peter Safran were announced as the CEOs of DC Studios, he like gathered like this huge writers room of like different comic writers, people who worked on television, people like Tom King, Kathy Yan, Jeremy Slater, who've worked on various comic book based projects. And yeah, Tom King is thanked in the credits of this, and he's, I think, was brought in to as a producer for Woman of Tomorrow.
Good.
Yeah. And this brings to the future of the DC. Like I said, we got the Supergirl movie coming out next year. We got the Lantern series. We got Peacemaker season 2 coming out.
Yeah, and we also have a Clayface, which James Watkins is directing Mike Flanagan's script for that. Which, it was like James Watkins who directed, one of the most depressing movies I've ever watched with Eden Lake, and one of the thank God this movie doesn't suck movies with Speak No Evil.
And James Gunn's already said so. The Robert Pattinson Batman is in his own universe, so that he will have his own Batman for his universe
Which I get it, because there is, such a groundedness of that world's Gotham, but especially after seeing this, I feel like that tonal whiplash would really work well in a connected universe with this take on Superman.
And I agree.
And I mostly say that because I don't want Andy Muschietti touching Batman again.
I'm with you, and also partially because that the drastic tonal contrast is exactly what you have in the books.
Yeah, it's like,
and then
it's like, even like I was like kind of joking like during the whole Metropolis evacuation scene, you see like a couple cars going to Gotham. It was like, okay, what goddamn demon is evacuating to Gotham?
And James Gunn, there's been some people have done some fan casting kind of things with Batman. One of the big fan casts right now is Alan Richardson, and he addressed this in an interview. I'm going to pull up again another interview, same interview he did with Josh Horowitz there. And people are like, well, if you really read between the lines of what Gunn is saying, he's saying, "Fuck no, I'm not going to cast Alan Richardson." But he's trying to be nice.
He convinced Gal Gadot that he was going to make a third Wonder Woman movie with her.
Yeah.
Just right to her face.
Proving that he's a better actor than she is.
So this is him addressing Alan Richardson as the next Batman.
Script.
Yeah,
And we know you read it and you seem very pleased.
I like it. Yes.
So on track for that release date. We feel like now we're headed in the right direction.
Oh yeah, for sure, we're headed in the right direction. So there's some things we still got to work out, but like it's headed in the right direction for sure.
So look, we've had this conversation before, but I'm going to bring up the Batman DCU stuff like again. So like obviously Brave and the Bold we know is being written, and the DCU Batman is still intended to be a different Batman than Rob. I guess my question is like timeline wise, like how does this work? Like is there I presume you wouldn't want to release Brave and Bold and
I think
Batman.
Batman Brave and the Bold. I think it's still Andy Muschietti who's still tapped.
Yes, he's still the man attached to directing that. Which there's still time, James.
Well, it seems like James Gunn is kind of because when they bring up Batman Brave and the Bold, it seems he kind of shies away from talking about Andy Muschietti as directing it. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's also because that script isn't done yet. That a lot of that news came out before Superman was released, and the Batman Part 2 with Matt Reeves that has been delayed like a couple of times because the script wasn't done.
Yeah.
So that's like
calendar
more in
year.
the
Like
news.
starts to get a little confusing, or no? You tell me. I mean, to have two Batman running around at the same time.
Probably not. But yeah, probably not. No.
Okay.
Probably not the same calendar year. Yeah.
Is Brave and Bold when you think we'll see that Batman for the first time?
I'm not going to say that.
Okay. Have you gotten into casting yet in your head?
No. Why are you winking at me?
That's weird. What do you think about the fans that talk about someone like Alan Richardson?
I am a big Alan Richardson fan, both as an actor and as a guy.
He's trying to search for them words, and he's trying to.
He's trying to be like very nice and diplomatic, but out of a lot of the fan castings, I don't hate Alan Richardson because he can play big, mean, intimidating on something like Reacher, but you also see him in like Blue Mountain State in that kind of like manic theater kid energy. I think would like do well to play up the duality between Bruce Wayne's public persona and Batman.
Let's just wait to see that. Okay. I guess my only other thing I'll say on that front, and then I'll move on, I promise, is again, and you can say anything you
But so Alan Richardson is Batman there. Like I said, I mean, physicality, I mean, definitely got it. He's a big guy. If people watch Reacher, and I think he's a good actor. I think he is a good actor there. With that, and he would be. I mean, he's an older guy, but he still looks mid-30s. He's 40s.
Well, they've also said that Brave and the Bold is going to introduce Damian Wayne.
Yeah, which means Dick and Jason and Barbara.
Which means Dick, Jason, Barbara, Tim, Cassie, Cassandra Cain, Stephanie Brown. All of those could be potentially already be running around Gotham City at that point.
Yeah. So definitely, I mean, people say he does look like the new absolute Batman that's out right now.
There you
go.
I do have to say, if you don't get him for Batman, somebody greenlight a Wolfenstein movie and give this man the BJ Blazkowicz role.
Oh yeah, he would absolutely work in that as well. There, I think he'd be perfect for that. But who would you? I mean, I know this is kind of on the spot. Do you have any ideas of who other than Alan Richardson would be a good James Gunn Batman for you?
I don't know if I have anybody off the top of my head. I can say characteristic wise, I want to see someone that is maybe able to pull off a slightly less, still moody, but slightly less moody, slightly more sarcastic Batman. Something again, that is in line with something like the DC animated universe with like Justice League Unlimited, where he's broody and he's still dark, but he's maybe lightened up a little bit because of who he's spending time around.
Yeah, and just off the top, based on kind of like this renaissance of his career that we're seeing lately, I wouldn't be mad at Josh Hartnett potentially playing like an older Bruce Wayne, because I really I think he's got the acting chops for it. I buy him as a a father to a potential like teenage son in Damian, and especially with the voice and the physicality I think he's got.
I think
especially now that he's gotten older, seeing him in stuff like Trap, like a Fight or Flight that just came out this year.
Wasn't he almost in the Nolan Batman?
Yeah, he was. Dude, everybody was almost Nolan Batman.
Yeah, he is 47. He's 47 years old right now. What do you think that's a good pick there, Say?
Yeah, I'm honestly, like I said, I didn't have anybody off the top of my head, but I'm gonna throw my money behind Nick's pick.
Okay. And then also with one, so they also said Wonder Woman. They are going to do a new Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is not going to be coming back. That is official now. That she is not going to be coming back.
Yeah, we'll have a Wonder Woman that can act.
No.
And then the person that so there's two fan
Max Lord. Max Lord, you're putting yourself in great danger.
So there's two fan casts for Wonder Woman right now. So one of them is Adriana Orjana.
Adria Arjona from most recently Hitman, Andor, Blink Twice.
So some people want her, and then the other one is May Calloway there, who was
May Calamawy from Moon Knight.
From Moon Knight. So that's the two picks right there. What do you think about these two picks?
I wouldn't be mad at either of them.
No. Yeah, I feel like I have watched a couple of the things that you just mentioned, but I don't know. I feel like I maybe need to see them in some more stuff just to decide whether I feel like I really know what they can do or not. I kind of want it to be someone I haven't heard of. I mean, which is maybe the case for a lot of these characters. I kind of want to almost go in having never heard the name of the person that they've picked for the character. But yeah, I mean, I can see them maybe pulling the look off for sure. At least looks wise, I can see it with both of them.
Yeah, and she was in Andor. She was in that. She was in both seasons of that, which I was a big fan of her in that. I don't know. I didn't know she was dating Jason Momoa. I didn't know.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah, so I guess there's already inroad there, and the DC she's with Aquaman / Lobo there. So there's that. But I could definitely see her fitting in the Gunn universe there as Wonder Woman. I think that's pretty.
Well, we already know she can act, so that's already a step up from Gal Gadot.
Yeah,
right. I will say I do, and then I'm sure she could bulk up too. But I do want to see a Wonder Woman that feels like truly like muscular and like
you want muscle mommy Wonder Woman.
Kinda.
Oh shit! Then Katie O'Brien, what's up?
Yeah, this could get her. This one, who also she was in. Was she? Which one was she in? She was in Obi-Wan, right? The Star Wars series. I'm trying to think. She was also
O'Brien?
Yeah, she was also in the Star Wars.
No, she was also in Mandalorian.
Oh, Mandalorian, that's the one.
Yeah, Mandalorian. She was in Love Lies Bleeding, and also Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah, so like this is what you mean there, Sage? Kind of like this.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see. I mean, especially with the like Olympic Greek athleticism that I feel like is applied to the Amazons so often. I would love to just see her be like, yeah, like that. That's a tough looking woman,
Yeah. But yeah, so it'd be cool to see that. So yeah, there is that. So they are doing that one. So new Wonder Woman's coming. He hasn't said anything about Flash. I don't think.
He said that he did say one thing. He said that Aquaman and Flash are probably
they're going to be on the shelf for a minute.
No,
which it makes sense because they were the last two movies that came out, and I mean.
And you literally recast one of those actors as a different character, and the less said about Ezra Miller, the better.
Yeah.
So there's that. So Yeah. Any more things about the future of DCU that you're looking forward to? Anything like that?
And I'm liking everything I've seen from the DCU so far. From the kind of unofficial start with Blue Beetle, where they've announced that Cholo Murdueña, he's back. He will come back as Jaime Reyes eventually. Creature Commandos, I thought was a very good, very entertaining show and good soft start to this. But Superman is fantastic, and I like that all of these projects, they all have different tones. From what we're hearing from James Gunn, that every one of these is going to have a different feel, much like the comics in the DC universe. It's like you get a kind of hard-boiled noir detective stories with Batman or someone like The Question. You get kind of Greek and Greek mythology angle with someone like Wonder Woman. You get world planetary stuff with Superman and the Green Lantern Corps. Every one of these should have a different feel and vibe to them, and I like everything that Gunn is doing running the studio so far. It's like they're not greenlighting a project, they're not doing casting or anything until a script is done and they're happy with it.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing. Gunn said you're gonna wait for the script, and get the script approved, and read that first, and then put it into production. And it's gonna be very methodical.
Yeah, it's like give me a script and we'll go from there. Which
that's how the Clayface movie happened. That wasn't planned until Mike Flanagan was like, "Hey, I have this idea already."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I can't wait for that poster to come out, and the slogan is "Look away."
Yeah.
I agree with everything that Nick just said, though. I love pretty much every decision being made. I think that it's got such a bright future ahead of it. I really think in a couple more years, I feel like DC is, unless Marvel gets their act maybe pulled together more on a consistent basis, and there's more of a healthy competition.
I think we'll see some of that after Doomsday releases, because they're that movie. I'm expecting it to be a fucking just get that potential dumpster fire out of the way.
But depending on how things go, I could see DC kind of, they're almost being a 180. Whereas there was a point when most of us would, a trailer for a Marvel movie would come out and we'd all be excited. We'd go see it. Everybody would be pretty happy with it, at least most of the time. And then DC would put a movie out and we'd all get together and make fun of it.
It's like, oh, come on, please let this be good. And then, feel utter shame and disappointment. It was I kind of want to burn all my Superman t-shirts after.
Well, I really do. And again, Marvel might pull together more than I'm expecting, but I think we could be seeing a bit of a 180 on the space in the public consciousness that these brands occupy, where Marvel's the one that people kind of roll their eyes at a little bit, and DC's the one that people are like, oh yeah, that's usually pretty good. Let's go check that out. In particular, when you ask about what we're looking forward to, Lanterns is number one for me. Like I said, a huge Green Lantern. I got 50 books over there. James Gunn's also made a point about how a lot of the stuff in the Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters is going to be each of these things are going to tell their own story, wrap that story up by the end, and not be concerned with setting up another story. And he has said that the one exception is Lanterns. The one thing that's sowing seeds for the future is Lanterns. And with the True Detective sort of murder mystery pitch of this series, I'm expecting Black Hand maybe. I think Blackest Night might be their big Avengers build-up sort of thing. And he's also recently, post Superman's release, talked about how there's kind of a secret main character that is a through line for the DC universe. And he said he doesn't think anybody's figured out who it is yet, but that character is in Superman. I think it's Guy Gardner, because who's in Superman, Lanterns, and Peacemaker season 2, and also space travel? Who is so prevalent in all these projects? I think we might. I think it's going to be the kind of light spectrum and all the mythology that goes with the Lanterns. I think that might be his big Blackest, instead of Infinity War and Endgame in 10 years. I think we might have a Blackest Night and Brightest Day movie.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that sounds great. And everything I'm hearing out of Lanterns, I'm super excited for, especially with the casting of Sinestro as as a Ulrich Thompson, who
Yeah.
I really love off of the Cinemax show Banshee.
Okay. Yeah. What is that? So it comes with a lot of great Superman reviews. People, like you said, walking out of the movie make you want to feel like a better person, happy. Kindness is the new punk rock there.
Joyful. Yeah, my like one gripe prior to the movie was that Corn Sweat wasn't really getting his own Superman theme. It's just a retooled version of the John Williams Christopher Reeve theme. But second those notes hit, I was like, yeah.
I mean, he's saving a bunch.
And he kind of the "I'm a Punk Rocker" song in a way. He still kind of got that as his theme too. So like you kind of got a little bit of both.
Yeah. So this is Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, who did a review of Superman here. And just to go over some, I think what a lot of his review there encapsulates a lot of some of the reviews I've seen and discussions people had about. And it's okay if you don't like Superman. You don't have to love Superman.
It's fine.
That's fine. But just to kind of break down some of the complaints about
it's just not okay if you're Ben Shapiro.
It's like, it's fine to not like a movie, but have valid criticisms besides just trying to nail the talking points that your audience thinks they want to hear.
But actually, even in the comments, they disagree.
Oh, yeah, they're roasting his
even
ass.
The conservative audience is like super. That's
so, like, you see, the first
can I
comment
just say-
here is
sorry.
this review was sponsored by Luther Corp. You have the second comment who says, who's quoting him, and then we're going to get to the comment he says in this video. He's talking about the parents were ugly, and then you have like a heartbreak emojis. Are we dead ass?
I'm gonna go comment on that video. The one thing liberals and conservatives can finally agree on is that Ben Shapiro sucks.
But let's get into this video there. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
He literally is just like the brainwashed monkeys that are posting
the rage bit. No, I was gonna say this, and this is a thought I have had years and years ago. But Ben Shapiro, he reminds me specifically of a kid from my like kindergarten, elementary school days that would cry if you opened a carton of milk near him.
That's such like an oddly specific thing.
It's very, very specific, but it was a true story.
All right, let's get into this review.
Okay, all right.
So immediately you're taking the expectation of what you know about his Krypton parents and flipping it on its head. His parents, Ma and Pa Kent, in the original, they are noble and they are wise. They're kind of salt of the earth. Here, they're basically kind of, I don't know, like down home types who don't seem to, they live in a kind of a crappy house. They're the kind of people who call the TV the box. They're the kind of folks who are sitting around and kind of scratching their butts. They're purposely cast as ugly and non-noble. Doesn't mean everything they say is bad. It isn't, but, and by the way, both of them are alive in this, right?
Yeah, it's like
Superman mythos is that Pa Kent dies. And that's
no.
Yeah.
One point. That was an invention of this Christopher Reeves film. Pa Kent's never died in the comics until later takes after that movie came out.
Yeah, and it's like, not that that's bad, but spends like the previous 30 seconds just insulting them. They're ugly. They live in a crappy house. They're like just scratching their butts. They're calling the TV the box because I'm guessing he's never spent time around anybody from the Midwest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is like the definition of a carpetbagger.
Oh, he's the definition of. It's so hilarious that he, like, I listened to a little bit of his review where he's like complaining that these liberal Hollywood studios are so out of touch with the common people. Meanwhile, this motherfucker worked like 10 months as a lawyer and then just made millions being a fucking political commentator on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean these are.
I have to say, gold star impression of that too.
Yeah, the woke liberal left.
I mean, but that's how regular people look. I mean, Mom and Pa Kent look like.
Yeah, they look like average people. I've met people who look like Pruitt Taylor Vince and Neva Howell.
Absolutely. That's totally just like normal average person. I mean, part of the reason I like that is because it didn't seem like glitzy and like like a Hollywood film.
Yeah. So that was a weird. I don't know. That's just super weird. That. But yeah, let's keep going.
Okay.
The super dog.
And excuse the I don't know. They do these thing when they insert all these meme clips and everything like that. That's just shit editing with the thing. I'm just playing it straight from the YouTube here, so that's not me.
Terrible dog is a dog that does not like an idiot dog. Like way worse than my dog Happy. My dog Happy way better than this dog, and my dog makes trouble. This dog is a mess. Supergirl, who you get introduced to for a hot second at the very end, Supergirl is a drunken teenage brat. Right, like anything that you think you know about the Superman universe, James Gunn is determined to debunk in the first half hour of the film. I think that it's a
seems like he doesn't really know much. It seems like because the basis for a lot of Ben Shapiro's criticism is that he just loves the 1978 Superman. I don't think he's really read a lot of the Superman comics or anything like that.
Oh, he hasn't. I can guarantee he hasn't.
So there's a lot of that. So it doesn't seem like that. So I'm gonna skip around here. There's some timestamps of just some things that he says here in the video.
Or even particularly cool. But you don't know the motivations of any of the villains except for Lex, who it turns out is just really kind of jealous of Superman because Superman has superpowers. And Lex is like, I'm really smart and Superman is really strong. So why do people like Superman more than they like me? Which is a pretty boring motivation, to be frank.
Well, that's
literally
that's the common motivation for Lex Luthor is that
that is literally his motivation in the comic. That is literally.
Yeah, to the point about the 78 movie, I mean, I feel like the only way you could have that criticism or impression is if the only Lex Luthor you know is the Gene Hackman version, and that's what you think the character is.
Yeah. And again, Lex explains why he hates Superman so much and why he hates him above all the other metahumans.
Also one of the best scenes.
And it's like even he acknowledges it. Yes, I know everything I do is driven by envy. I'm not dim.
So again, if
Lex Luthor is more self-aware than Ben Shapiro.
That's one of the comments on the video. So this was another criticism. I'm skipping
okay, all right.
But again, that's irritating. As far as the plot itself makes very little sense. The plot is basically that Lex Luthor has decided that he is going to make a deal with a foreign politician who the left wants to believe is both Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu, but actually is just kind of nothing, is going to invade another country. And Superman stops that invasion. Apparently, Lex wants to use this as an excuse to box up Superman, saying that he's running counter to American foreign policy. Now, we've seen that iteration in other movies, right? That was in Batman versus Superman. You've seen it in other versions of the Superman story, but it's not really taken kind of to its ultimate extreme politically. In any case, it turns out that what he really wants is to annex half of this separate country. He's going to split it with this other dictator. One major plot hole. Lex Luthor is obviously the smartest person in the film. So smart, he can create his own universes. He's a major plot point. And he is concerned about a relatively small piece of land occupied by third worlders. This is his big plan. And later it turns out that he said, oh, no, I started that war just so that I could get people to turn against Superman. Okay, well, he does that halfway through the film. And then he jails him, and then he leaves him alive and explains this secondary plan that apparently was his primary plan, sort of. But he doesn't kill Superman at the time for a reason that remains undisclosed.
Would they say that in the movie?
They say that, right. Yeah, the government has questions for him.
Right. He can't just kill him as of yet, even though he wants to, because the government wants to question him and interrogate him and everything like that, and to make a determination there. At least Lex Luthor actually does some due process. At least he he gets the government in some trial there.
Yeah, it's just basic leverage. I mean,
yeah, and so
it's not even complicated.
Yeah, that's something you can just watch the movie. I mean, that's
just having eyes.
Yeah, if you watch the movie, if you like engage with it in any way besides just okay, what can I gather for rage bait for my dying YouTube channel so people can think that I know movies even though I'm a failed screenwriter.
Even though he's a wet ass P word.
So this is another criticism that Ben Shapiro had.
Complete CGI vomit. So James Gunn has an addiction to kind of gross and weird imagery, which doesn't really fit in the context of the, again, Americana that is Superman. And so there's some really gross.
I mean, again, if you read the comics,
gross.
We are. We are a country who proudly flaunted a fried chicken sandwich where we used chicken as the bread. We have theme parks where we got cheeseburgers with donuts for the buns. We disgusting things are Americana, bruh.
Yeah.
Can either of you explain to me specifically what that's supposed to mean by gross though? Because I'm genuinely trying to think. I don't even know what that's about.
I think it's like talking about the scene with the nanites and some of the stuff with Metamorpho.
I think
That's like the most like PG thing I've ever seen.
He's going to explain it here, but he's talking
Okay.
about the eyeballs. Like he says, like James Gunn's got this weird obsession with like eyeballs and something. Like because there was like that was in Suicide Squad. That was in Suicide Squad with like the Starfish.
Right, with Starro. Right.
Starro, and then that was also in this, like with
Because
the
people hit big monsters and not in the eyeball.
Because eyes are sensitive, and like that's how you could fight something that big.
Yeah, so that's what he's about to
If
go.
anything, one of my few other criticisms in the movie was that I didn't think that mace was mashing the eyeball enough. I wanted more eyeball mashing.
Addictions, kind of gross and weird imagery, which doesn't really fit in the context of the, again, Americana that is Superman. And so there's some really gross and weird images, particularly in the Pocket universe, where you have characters who are turning themselves into weird tentacly octopuses, and you have people's eyes being attacked on a wide variety of it. He has an obsession with eyes, James Gunn, and you can see it.
Take it up with 1 million
There's an
mobs.
obsession with the eyeball being pierced, and it's very strange and off-putting. My wife was very off-put by a lot of this imagery. It feels like psychedelic LSD CGI vomit is what it feels like for large portions.
Really those. I can't really think of any other stuff he did a lot with eyeballs. Like okay, Suicide Squad.
Okay, it's like one other example from a movie like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I don't think Guardians. Did he do anything with eyeballs in Guardians? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the stuff on OrgoCorp in Guardians 3, but yeah, it's like that was meant to like look gross. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I guess he wants to steal that guy's eye, but like that's just funny.
Oh yeah, there was the Rocky Raccoon. Yeah, there was that the first movie. Yeah, he wants to steal his eye or something. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just the most like just thumb twiddling. Like I've got to find something.
He's literally just rambling at this point, looking for shit to criticize.
Yeah, I don't even understand the points that he's trying to make.
Of the film, you never really get a kinetic scene of Superman doing something cool. You have multiple scenes of giant heavy objects falling on Superman and Superman stopping the giant heavy objects from falling to save an individual. Again, another plot hole. You'll have giant building. The entire building will fall, and he will stop the building from falling to save one person or a chipmunk.
Well, at this point in the scene, like the scene that he's showing with the buildings falling, and this is the scene towards the end of the movie, the people had already evacuated. Like they evacuated the city.
Yeah,
so
they evacuate.
Yeah, they the last person on their way out.
Is it crazy that a whole city evacuated in like an amount of like what, an hour or two? Yeah, but I mean that's what they show people getting out of the city.
But counterpoint, this movie puts its foot forward in this is a weird, zany alternate universe that has cartoon rules for people that want this type of thing.
Oh, so, yeah, it's like you're complaining about real life physics in the Superman movie. You know what also isn't real? Superman and flying dogs.
And I feel like Superman, of all the comic book characters, physics kind of go out the window immediately with this character, more so than most. Like, just why are you even worried about that? Like, do you realize that he would cut Lois Lane in half every time he catches her falling? If you were actually applying these rules to it.
Yeah. Like when he saves that woman running and then he like with the kaiju monsters, like she would explode on impact and like how fast.
Yeah, like in The Boys, that's what it would actually be. That's why we have that show over there and this isn't that.
Sorry. He's too busy complaining about The Boys because he just realized that show's making fun of him.
This was enough. So we're almost there. We're almost done with this.
Okay, all right.
More points here.
Told is a movie about illegal immigration. Not really. Honestly, like you have to look to find that. There's one line where Clark is saying, "Aren't you going to read me my rights?" James Gunn's politics is so ham-handed, like truly ham-handed, that it doesn't even read as political. It just reads as stupid. So there's a moment where Clark is being arrested, and he says, "Aren't you going to read me my rights?"
Yeah, because
it's only one line, but then
literally one line in the whole movie.
Right. But then the next thing he says is it's so heavy-handed and ham-fisted. Well, how is it heavy-handed if there's only one line about it? Both of those things can't be true at the same time.
One of the members of the government says, well, you're now considered an enemy alien, right? You don't have any rights because you're not an American. All right. Is that supposed to be some sort of like
not what he said at all?
Anti-ICE sentiment. It's really weak. Also, legally incredibly stupid, considering that he came to Earth as a baby and then was adopted by an American family, which would make him American.
They don't know that,
right? So they don't know that he's Clark Kent. They don't know.
They don't know
they
that,
just
dummy.
They don't know that he's who he got adopted by. They just know he's an alien and he's Superman. So that argument doesn't even make any sense there. So I don't even understand.
He's asked point blank multiple times, once by Lois during the interview, and then Lex threatening him. She's like, well, where do you come from? Like, right, like in different contexts, but multiple times he's asked that question. And even if you, again, aren't familiar with this character, this is the first time you've seen a movie based on this character, it's illustrated pretty clearly why he's not going to just make that in public information.
Yeah. And then also in it, he also talks about the line he gives there about how he's illegal, like he is, because and then even if he did get even they knew the backstory of him with his parents, that still they would have to still forge the paperwork because they would have to still say he's from another planet. So that would even be done illegally. So he wouldn't even be there with that. And they would have to go through a whole process to make him a naturalized citizen there, which I don't know if they've ever done that. But yeah, so that was that's just stupid. I don't know. I don't really get that at all. So two more. So this is the second to last one here.
I didn't catch that anywhere in the film. The sort of
catch anything.
Social media politics that social media is stupid and rigged by bots, which I mean, I think everybody sort of agrees on at this point. And there's a really dumb visual joke where Lex has set up actual monkeys typing into computers as his bots. It's like, oh God. But that's so James Gunn. Again, it's all so I can't. I just don't like James Gunn. I mean,
okay.
And again, I'm one of the people who, when James Gunn was first fired from the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise in July 2018 over bad old tweets, I actually defended him at the time. So it's not about like anything personal with James Gunn. I just don't like his movies very much. The other politics of the situation are supposedly this foreign policy thing. So the left is suggesting that the foreign policy conflict in which Superman engages is a stand-in for Israel and the Palestinians, or alternatively for Russia and Ukraine. So let me give you the geopolitical setup. The geopolitical setup here is that there is a country called Moravia, and this country called Moravia is run by essentially a corrupt dictator who's working with Lex Luthor, and it invades another sovereign country, Jarhanpur. Okay, and so Superman stops that at the very beginning. Okay, and doesn't show him stopping it. He talks to Lois Lane about it. Fine.
I do think that was a mistake. I talked to Sage about it. I think they should have showed that at the movie, him actually intervening.
I'm kind of like iffy on that because I feel like the impact of that event, this happening in media res after this initial fight with the Hammer of Arabia, I think that gives it so much more impact.
I think what I could have seen being an interesting way to do it is to maybe keep the cold open, keep the in media res, and then maybe later in the film, within the first act, maybe there was a little bit of news footage of him doing it. But it was still shown afterwards. I think that might have been a way to kind of have your cake and eat it too there. I mean, I'll say I do think the movie could have been 20 minutes longer, and I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It doesn't add or it doesn't take away anything not seeing it actually happen.
The idea is geopolitically that Moravia has been a longtime ally of the United States. Jarhanpur is a country where we don't know who it's allied with. And it may or may not be run by jihadis, but we don't know. We don't know who it's run by. It doesn't matter. The only reason that Clark stops it, that Superman stops it, is he says because
people were going to die.
Which, as we'll get to in sort of my final breakdown of why this movie doesn't work and why no really good Superman movie has been made since '78.
What did he say?
I'll explain in a moment. The people of Jarhanpur are brown.
Look at my African American over here.
The people of Moravia are white. Okay, so this is why the left is reading this as Israel, the Palestinians. The reason it doesn't work that way is because
I see, like I said,
get to the fucking point. My God,
we are not made aware that the people of Jarhanpur are either wildly terrorism supportive that they have participated in multiple terrorist attacks on the people of Moravia. They're led by a corrupt dictatorship that murders gay people, right? None of that's in the movie. So
They do say in the movie during that interview with it's Lois and Clark, they do say that I think or somewhere else in the movie they do say Jarhempor is run by a dictator. They do say that.
Yeah.
I believe that's
Yeah,
it's during that
yeah,
interview
it's
scene,
like
and Clark's response is, so that makes it okay to kill them all.
Yeah. So that doesn't even they do address that point. It's like it's not like a perfect innocent nation. They don't say
Yeah.
that. They're like, like it has
Yeah,
issues
it's like
in government.
Yeah, it's like both have issues with the government. One is like a country of dirt farmers that you see at the very end of the movie, and the other with like tanks and automatic weapons and helicopters.
And Superman's not saving one government from the other government. He's saving
the people there.
Yeah, it's like could not be more obvious or more just clear.
Yeah, and something that I think is kind of an unsung aspect of this, because you have Frank Grillo reprising his role as Rick Flag Sr. And he's kind of like on Superman's side ostensibly. It's like, yeah, guy's naive, but he stopped a war.
Yeah.
And I think, it's, some connection to Creature Commandos, where he's like kind of on his side. He like sees him more as just like, oh, finally, one of these guys is kind of sane.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody did
like, you got no idea what I've been dealing with.
Yeah. He's like, Frankenstein woman and a fucking chicken, a fish jar, and like Superman
got a motherfucker
nonstop.
Got a motherfucking like flaming skeleton.
So this is the last point that he makes, which I think is one of the strangest, weirdest points.
It's also kind of weird that he sees, this, powerful government threatening to genocide a population. Immediately, he goes to Israel.
Yeah.
It's because he supports it.
But this is the final point I wanted to talk about from the video here.
To my final point about this movie and all other Superman movies. The fundamental flaw in all Superman movies of my lifetime is the thing that Hollywood cannot say and will not do.
Politics. Does he still stand for truth, justice, all that stuff?
The only Superman movie that I have ever seen that uses truth, justice, and the American way is the original 1978 Superman.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
This is not just a throwaway line. It is deeply important to the character of Superman. Why? Well, because
I don't think it's that deeply important to the characters.
It really isn't.
I don't.
No, the actual actions behind what those words meant was important to Superman. The words themselves, not really. I mean, truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, I think is more in line with how Superman has changed as a character in like the 40 years since the 78 movie, and hundreds of years with the comics.
What do you think, Dave?
I agree 100% with what Nick just said. I mean, it's like, look, some things about the character you want to remain the same or similar.
Yeah, it's like
not too much.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's like
not that big a change. It really.
Yeah, it's like the intention behind the words, because think about where we were back in 1978. This is post the Vietnam War. This is like kind of this period of history where this is after Nam. This is like, okay, what does America stand for? And this was trying to be that like very optimistic look of it's like we still want to believe that America is all good. It's like we want to believe that America is the greatest country on earth, and it does stand for what is right and moral. And sadly, and just look at time and how it's gone, especially in the last like 20 years. I honestly really can't say that Superman would stand for what a lot of the governments around the world have done.
And to go even further back, you can pull from the debut of the original comics, which was in the years leading up to the Holocaust and World War II. So it's like it's a different time. It's like and has become more of a Earth. It's about Earth, and it's about the whole species and everything. So that's a weird thing to focus in so heavily on.
Yeah, because Shapiro's whole brand is like America is the greatest country on earth, and the radical and the sorry, let me get that. Yes, and the radical woke Hollywood and radical left, they're destroying this country by forcing transgenders into bathrooms.
Well, and let's just be clear. I don't think if they did say that in the movie, I don't think he'd be happy until it said truth, justice, and the Israeli way.
But like Nick said, he's about to get into that, so let's finish this up.
Take Superman just as a character. Superman is unbelievably powerful, unstoppable. He's faster than anyone. He has X-ray and laser vision. He's stronger than anyone, right? He's basically a god on earth, and the biggest god. He's Zeus, right? He can do whatever he wants. And so, why is he the good guy? Why isn't Lex Luthor right? Because let's be real. If there were a person on Earth who actually had those powers, Americans would rightly be very much afraid of that. Correctly, as Federalist 51 suggests, you need ambition to counteract ambition. If any one person had ultimate power, what you're really talking about is a philosopher king. And that's pretty scary because that person could be a dictator, simply doing whatever they want to the world. The only reason why Superman would be a hero as opposed to a villain is because he grew up in America, because he has the American way, right? He's emblematic of what America is. May blunder, may make mistakes, but overall stands for freedom and liberty, and private property, and free speech, and all of those.
We put private property above free speech. Yeah, he listed that one before free speech. Yeah.
Things.
All that stuff.
Right? All the good American stuff. There's a great comic book called Superman Red Sun. It's an alternative universe in which Superman's capsule from Krypton lands in Soviet Russia. And he grows up as the emblem of Soviet Russia. And he's evil because he grew up in Soviet Russia. Because if you give
really misunderstand Red Sun if
your
takeaway is that he's evil.
Yeah.
No.
What's your opinion? What's your opinion of Superman Red Sun there?
I think it's a fantastic book and a great thought experiment with the character like Superman. It was like, okay, what if you took this character who we so closely associate with the ideals of America at the time he was written and apply that to a different philosophy. And even in the Red Sun comic and the animated film, he's not really evil. He does a lot of things that do cross moral lines, but he is very utilitarian in his actions. He is all about collective good.
What do you think they say?
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Evil is a bizarre thing to take away.
Yeah, it's because it's because because the whole platform of the Daily Wire is like freedom good, communist bad.
Yeah, it's just that he's trying to achieve similar things, end goals,
it's like
but under a different system.
Yeah, it's like if you wanted to have a good comparison, I would say look at some of the later arcs of Invincible as it applies to the character Robot.
Yeah. It's not evil. It's just it's a bit more morally gray. It's a little more complex than outright black and white. He's just 100% good, but going so far to swing all the way to the other side of that's just not what that is.
It was like. Yeah, it's why
actually not by the end of that comic, where that lands at the very end of it, and how light spoilers for the Red Sun comic from 30 years ago. But
yeah, it was one of the few Mark Millar books that has a good ending.
Yeah, well, but you see this very far you see a far future that is this utopia that he eventually is able to help create over this huge amount of time. And he's ultimately still all about making a world where peace and prosperity and safety is the highest goal. Maybe there's some more morally complex things he does along the way, but it doesn't go full the road to hell is paved with good intention.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's just not.
Yeah, if anything, Batman in that story is more closer to an evil interpretation of that character.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
now
the
the
animated
powers.
movie does not super faithfully adapt the comic for anyone that's just seen the animated movie.
And I like the animated movie. Fine. It's like, okay.
Evil ideology, then evil ensues. So this is why it's really important. It's not just truth, justice, and the human way, or truth, justice, and all that good stuff. There's a specific definition of Americanism that says that this is why America, for example, should be a world power, because America is better than other countries. And people who live in accordance with Americanism make the world better if they have more power. That's why America is good. Because otherwise, Superman is bad, and Lex Luthor is right, and we should restrict his power. And we should jail him, and we should check and balance him, and we should not let him be free. The problem is that Hollywood cannot say the American way because they don't believe in the American way. They don't believe that America is unique. They don't believe in these American basic values and principles and rights. They have a hard time, even with the idea that, like, the values of Ma and Pa Kent back on the farm are values that ought to be promulgated in the best of all possible circumstances. And so what they come away with in kind of the key moment in this movie, for example, is Pa Kent telling Clark that parents don't make missions for their kids, right? They don't make their kids kind of what they are in terms of what they should be. They give kids the tools to choose what they want to be, and then those choices make those kids what they are. Okay, that's kind of half true and half not. Of course, you give your kids the tools to make choices in life, but you also try to define the mission your kid should have in life. That's maybe the most important thing you do as a parent. Direct them in a way.
Somebody's not going to be on speaking terms in a decade.
That is literally what giving the tools is, you dumb fuck.
Also, can I just say a lot of the last line of things he just said are all things that Lex Luthor thinks. Specifically, some of those things.
So it just seems like the only reason he thinks that Superman's a good guy is just because he's American, not because of any of the values.
Okay, let's test that theory. Let's have Superman land with a bunch of neo-Nazis. Let's see how good he turns then.
You know, like, that seems like a very odd thing. Like, you know, it's like there's no other country that teaches humility or niceness or helping others. Like, there's only America does that, I guess. Okay.
You know, based on his description of what he thinks Red Sun is about, you'd think Superman landed in Israel.
I mean, so yeah. So I mean, that was pretty much it right there. Yeah, it's just.
Yep. Ben Shapiro's an idiot, and it is very fun to, you know, laugh at how dumb and how, you know, clearly he refuses to engage with any kind of media that doesn't agree, that doesn't validate any of his, like, very, very close-minded worldviews.
It's because his wife is as dry as the Sahara.
It's like, yes, honey, it's not supposed to get wet.
So that was our thoughts on Ben Shapiro's thoughts on Superman there.
Wait, did you say Bitch Shapiro?
No, I said Ben Shapiro.
Aww.
But that should be a new name. I'll try to trademark that. Maybe that should be a new name there. Yeah. So
we are hashtag super shit.
And that was our spoiler thoughts there for Superman 2025.
If I could add just one last thing, I did pull up because you were talking about the box office at the very beginning, and I wanted to compare box office numbers to the box office run of Iron Man 1 because I feel like that's the best thing to compare to. Now, Superman is just crossing the $400 million mark right now, right, on its second week. Do you know what the total, this is worldwide, total gross for Iron Man 1's theatrical box office release was $585 million.
Okay.
Superman is not, that's the full run. Superman's already most of the way there.
Yeah, but that's 2008 money. You gotta kind of have to adjust for inflation.
And there's also been a crash with superhero films that has to be taken into account. So I feel like that's kind of balancing out a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, my kanji is my remembering of kanji is completely gone. I don't know how to pronounce that. But
I think it says Puptress here. Is if that's how you say it. But a comment and says people still want Starship Troopers. I think the troopers are the good guys. So not surprised someone misunderstood a comic book.
Wait, they're not?
Yeah. Sorry, been rooting for the fascists the whole time, man.
Spreading democracy.
You say fascists. I remember rooting them as freedom fighters.
Freedom fighters. But that was Superman 2025. Yeah, Nick, thanks, man. Sorry for keeping you for so long.
Oh no, it's completely fine. I love doing this show.
Yeah. You coming back Friday?
Yeah, Friday I'll be there. I just saw Eddington today. Watched I Know What You Did Last Summer the other day, and I have thoughts.
Okay. Can't wait to see you Friday. Yeah, and also the Fantastic Four. Maybe we should get I should get another guy so we can do 4 on 4. Yeah, it's gonna be 3, so maybe I get another guy in there. So yeah, 4-way. All right.
Pause.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah. Have a good one there, Nick.
What are you talking about? I'm still sticking around for Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay. So you've seen Fantastic Four 2005?
Yeah.
Oh,
dude,
okay.
I grew up in this era.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you saw it. Oh, my bad. All right. Let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah, I rewatched it not that long ago. It was like
Goon Without Me, 96 says 4 guys sounds fun.
Ooh, with a name like Goon.
I like the name.
Yeah, okay.
With a name like Goon.
Oh, okay. Let me get into it. My bad. I didn't think you saw it. All right. Let me pull up my notes for this. Right. Okay. So our next review of the day is we're doing a retro review. And that is going to be for Fantastic Four. No, not Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. No, not Fan Four Stick from Josh Trank. We're doing Fantastic Four from 05. This is Tim Story's Fantastic Four there. What you have here. You have Ian Gutford there as Reed Richards. You got Jessica Alba there as Sue Storm. You got Michael Chiklis there as Ben Grimm, the Thing. You got Julian McMahon there as Victor Von Doom. There you got Chris Evans. This was one of his very first superhero roles there. Here is Johnny Storm there, Human Torch, who would go on to reprise the role later on in Deadpool and Wolverine. So he had to get it. He had to try a couple superhero roles before he got it right. He had to try. He was also in what was that movie with Idris Elba, The Losers or something, right? Or
The Losers was another comic role of his.
Yeah, that movie. So he had to do it a couple times to get before he got right with Captain America. But yes, this was, like I said, 2005. Tim Story, who's most known for directing the Barbershop films. There, he also he still does movies regularly. I think the last movie he did was I remember him doing. I saw was The Blackening. He did that.
Oh yeah, that movie's fucking great. He's like one of those guys who's always working, but kind of like with Craig Gillespie, it's like when he hits, he fucking hits.
Yeah. I think the only reason if he is successful, the reason he is successful is because he's with like an ensemble cast of comedians that they probably write the script and he just kind of shoots and kind of directs it. Like that usually kind of, because like Barbershop was really great. The Blackening there with that. Even Think Like a Man, I think is pretty fun.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot.
So then there was a sequel to this movie called Rise of the Silver Surfer, which came out a couple of years later. But there was no third film. They never finished it. They never did 3 movies there of this. But yes, so we decided to do this one here. You got a Fantastic Four shirt on.
Silver Surfer shirt right there.
Oh, okay. So Silver Surfer shirt on there right there. Before he went all woke and turned into a woman in the new one there. But
these transgenders, wokeness, they're taking away our comic book characters and our childhoods.
Yeah.
Technically, he didn't have a dick in 2007 either. So is that also? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, he's pretty smooth. I mean, he's just like with Fan Four Stick, where it's like
he's basically a Ken doll down there.
He's pretty smooth. And of course, we're doing this review because there is going to be the new Fantastic Four movie that's going to be coming out this week. There, Marvel has their version there coming out. I think there are some people already doing. I see on YouTube already. They're doing like out of theater reactions for it. I have not seen them yet. But this is like, are they finally going to get it right? Are they finally going to make a good Fantastic Four movie? Like I said, there's been numerous attempts at it, and nobody's gotten it right except for Brad Bird when he called it The Incredibles. So there is that. But I know, Sage, you were kind of saying like from the trailers, none of them have really sold you. You were just kind of like lukewarm on them.
You know, I will say that last third trailer, that one did. That one, I felt like I finally saw them. My big issue with the first two trailers is I just didn't feel like I was getting enough like dialogue of them speaking directly to each other. So I didn't get a feel for the family dynamic necessarily. And I think the third trailer finally gave me some of that, and I'm feeling more confident about it now. Still cautiously optimistic because I just feel like I've been burned by Fantastic Four a great many times and the MCU lately too. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. Mostly because I think that Doctor Doom is only going to be in the post-credit scene. That is like the biggest thing that gives me confidence and hope for this movie being good is that I won't have to see Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. And so so we got that coming out there. There is going to be a mid-credit scene and a post-credit, like many with these movies,
Yeah,
Marvel
of
movies.
course.
They'll do that there with.
It's going to be Robert Downey Jr. going, "I hate you 3000."
I mean, hey, you joke, but it's probably in
You
there.
joke, but the fucking Russo brothers, they're undoubtedly gonna fucking do that.
Yeah. Jessica Alba, you could say that again. Yeah, Jessica Alba, who, very fine in this movie. You had a Latino woman playing a white character there.
Yeah,
so-
it's like turn a character black and they lose their minds, but give a Latina a blonde wig and blue contacts and nobody says anything.
Which Jessica Alba said, I think she cried multiple times during the movie because of those contacts. I think it's so painful to have in her eyes there. So she had a lot of trouble with those. This follows the story. People don't know Fantastic Four. Like I said, you have these characters of Reed Richards there, of Johnny Storm, of Ben Grimm there. The family is a Marvel's first family, as they say there. All it's missing is Herbie the Robot. Herbie the Robot. But Herbie the Robot was only introduced in the animated series, not the comic, I think, right?
Yeah, they some of the censors thought that kids would light themselves on fire if they thought the Human Torch looked cool. Little did they know that in like 2012, the fire challenge
They were going to do that
Yeah,
anyway.
And if people don't know, so you have these group of people who go into space there on a mission. While they are in space there, they come across a cloud there and then of course tragedy ensues there, an accident there where it gifts them these powers there. Where you have Reed Richards who's gifted the powers of stretching abilities. You have Johnny Storm who's gifted the power of being on fire there. You have Ben Grimm who turns into a giant rock monster there. And you also have Sue Storm who is able to turn invisible and make force fields.
Yeah,
and also,
it's like I can stretch, I can fly, I can make shields. I'm a rock.
He's fucking rock.
Even the original like Jack Kirby Stan Lee comic, I swear they there's a moment when they're naming themselves and he's like, I've been turned into some kind of thing, and the very next dialogue bubble is, well, I'm gonna call myself Mr. Fantastic. Just completely like stomping over like his existential crisis.
And so that's what you got here. So after that, they become the superhero team known as the Fantastic Four there. And also on the mission was also you had Victor Von Doom, who like I said is played by Julian McMahon in this, who rest in peace to him. He recently just passed away. He passed away at the beginning of this month in July. He was 56 years old. He died from a form of cancer there. So he had head and neck cancer.
That's terrible.
And he was cremated there. So this is one of his legendary roles, along with this and Nip Tuck was also one of his other big roles. I remember him. I think the first time I ever saw him was in the TV show Charm. That show where he played the demon in that show there. But I'll go around and get you guys' thoughts. Sage, what are your memories from 2005 Fantastic Four?
Well, revisiting it was interesting. I hadn't watched this movie in probably 20 years, but I will say, giving it a look again, there is more positive here than I may have given it credit for without having gone back to watch it. I got to say, Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis both, I think, pretty much nail the personalities of these characters. Not only with their just personalities in general, but also the dynamic that they have with each other and the interplay between them. The same I don't think can be said for Ian Crawford and Jessica Alba. No wonder they broke up in the history of this, because they have, I think, just no chemistry here. So it's interesting. Like, some things I remember about this movie negatively were very accurate, And then there were also some positives that I'm like, you know what? Parts of this are better than I remember.
Yeah.
Not to get too ahead of myself, but there's one scene we can come to later with the thing that I was like, okay, that's like a great scene. Like there's one scene I was like, wow, no, that's actually like emotional.
Yeah, I'm kind of that same way too, because I hadn't watched this movie in such a long time. I think when recently I rewatched it, but the first time I revisited it was after the announcement of the new cast. And I kind of wanted to see, how well this movie had aged. And shockingly, I think that the movie is a lot better than I, gave it credit for, having not revisited for a while. I think, like you're saying, Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis, they are the guys who really understand the assignment. They really nailed the dynamic with their characters. This kind of like, big brother, little brother rivalry that they have going. But I think the really underrated aspect of this is Julian McMahon as this take on Victor Von Doom, even if it isn't, straight from the comics. He gets the narcissism and ego that is inherent to playing Doom.
So there's something I want to know if either of you guys noticed watching this movie. There's two scenes in particular and it was with the Victor Von Doom character, but and one in particular felt like it was beat for beat the same scenes as Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
It 100% is. It is like I wouldn't be surprised.
Being seen by a lab technician after hours in the lab when no one else is there. The guy tells him he's sick, but he's got to tell other people about it, and then he hoists him up by the throat. And he's like, "I can't let you do that," and then kills that particular guy. That is like beat for beat the same scene.
Yeah, it's beat for beat, and I think
and this scene right here.
I think.
Is this a scene?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yep, yes, it is.
Let's play a little bit of here, and we'll get to see a little bit of him as Victor Von Doom.
How long? At this rate, the infection could be complete in 2, maybe 3 weeks.
What do you mean complete?
I wish I could tell you. I can't pretend to know what we're dealing with here. I'll have to notify the CDC.
What?
Center for Disease Control.
I know what it is.
If this thing is contagious, we may have a big problem on our hands. We're talking about an epidemic here.
Look at me. I have a life in the face of $1 billion company. We need to keep this confidential.
Victor, this disease is progressive, degenerative. I have to notify someone.
That's terrible news.
That's even like the same sound. I think that makes in Spider-Man.
It literally
it probably is.
Like I think that's the same sound when he throws the guy, in the the same glass and everything like that. Let me actually kind of look up that scene in a minute there. But I mean, a lot of these are kind of does feel like they're doing a lot of Spider-Man.
Which at the time
I've sacrificed.
Which at the time, X-Men, the original 2001, and the first Spider-Man, those were like the blueprint. Those like kind of were the call to action to all of Hollywood that, hey, these comic books, they, you put some money behind them, they'll make money. And
nobody was trying to replicate Howard the
Duck. No, they were trying to replicate Blade.
That's true.
But it was like if you take these like kind of seriously, put some money behind them, they'll pay dividends for you. And everyone was kind of scrambling to get their movies made.
Yeah. So let's look at this, because I swear that same sound plays in this scene too. Let's just take a look at this.
Norman.
Yeah, I think that's the same sound.
It's damn near the same. It's damn near the same sound. It was like half expected Victor to go to formula.
This is one of the kind of he's one of the few actors to play live action Victor Von Doom. How do you like him as Victor Von Doom?
I'll say I agree with Nick in that I think as an actor, I think he does get the narcissism and I think he gets what the character. There's a couple scenes where he really does sound like the character, like how I'd want him to speak. I think the problem I have with Doctor Doom in this movie is it's not from him at all. It's purely the script and how the script decides to utilize him within the story. I've never liked the idea of like shoving him into their space mission and him having powers from that mission the way they do. He's supposed to be a tech genius and someone that masters magic. I get that you only have so much time in a movie, but him being like a foreigner, I feel like doesn't even really come up except for like the tags for like, the next movie.
They tag the next movie, and there's like a throwaway line about him going back to the old country.
Yeah, it's very minimal. Him being like a political ambition in any way that doesn't seem to be much of a part of his character. And I mean, I definitely think he suffers from there's a few superhero movies that do this, but where like he's clearly the bad guy from the beginning. You can see that even if you're not familiar with the material.
Hey, he wears black on black suits. Of course, he's the bad guy.
Right. But I will say he still sounds like a reasonable human being, even if he's kind of a douchebag. But he does in the third act. I feel like it's a very sudden, like, all right, pretty normal, just kind of not a great person to totally crazy. I'm gonna
straight up supervillain.
Yeah, it's a very fast transition, and it's nothing to do with the actor's performance. It's all just in the room and the material that the script gives him to do with the character. It's just the way he's utilized in the plot. I feel like he could have been in this a lot more than he is. I feel like he's honestly not very present, and that's one way in which it's very different from Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, because that character is very present throughout that whole movie. You feel the build of it.
Yeah, Spider-Man in that movie, it's almost like the parallel journey of Rise of Peter Parker, but Fall of Norman Osborn. And here it's not as pronounced as it is in other superhero movies like this. And with Doom, I feel like there is a bit of that, like 2000s. We're kind of embarrassed to be, associated with comic books, so we'll like try and downplay a lot of the more goofier aspects behind all of these characters.
Yeah.
And here's another decent scene I think I liked from the movie here.
Victor, wait. I just wanted to say I'm sorry the mission didn't go as planned. Didn't go as planned.
Well, that's kind of an understatement. Didn't go as planned.
What the fuck? What are your friends turned into a rock man? What the fuck you mean didn't go as planned?
That's kind of a big understatement there.
Catastrophe. You ruined the lives of 4 people. With all due respect, we're both to blame. I told you to abort. Abort. I put my company,
My name, billions of dollars on the line. I will not let you make me look like a fool.
Victor, if we could understand.
I don't want to understand it. This isn't one of your science projects. I just want to fix it.
Okay.
Fast.
And then for some reason, a lot of these Fantastic, they have it where Doctor Doom can control like electricity or something. Like I think that was
they give him lightning powers in all these versions.
Yeah.
Again, the character is supposed to be a tech genius like Tony Stark, and a very, very adept, like having learned as a skill magic.
He's in the comics. I think he's basically a master of the mystic arts. He's like on the level
like
of
Tony
Doctor
Stark
Strange.
and Stephen Strange. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you said that one of the bright things about this movie is Michael Chiklis there, who was a fan of the comic books. He actually was a fan of the comic books. He's one of the few people in the cast, I think, or one of the only people that actually did read the comic books as a kid and was a fan.
We can tell.
So he was happy about being cast as the Thing there. And I do agree that I think him and Chris Evans are two of the big bright spots in this movie as far as that goes. And then there's some great moments, as you mentioned, with the Thing, where you have a lot of the tragedy of what he kind of.
You have Laurie Holden, who I feel like in the 2000s got this reputation for playing just the most unrepentant characters possible between this and Andrea in The Walking Dead.
Oh god, I was about to bring up that too.
Yeah, and this is the scene right here where he's dressed like Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I think they even make a joke about. I think in one of the comics, don't they? They dress alike, or they're very similar.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. And you see her when she actually gets to see him. So the thing when they initially have the whole thing when they come back from the space mission, it takes a while for them to actually get their
Uh-huh.
powers to turn
Yeah,
into.
they do a scene that I laughed so much harder upon revisiting, where they have Chris Evans as Johnny, just like trying to prepare Ben for seeing his reflection, and it's just Michael Chiklis.
Yeah. But this is the scene here where he is trying to meet his fiance again, and he's like, "Hey, I'm back home, and but I got a surprise for you." And it's some,
I was like, could have prefaced it with like, okay, it's not going to be a good surprise. There's going to be some adjustments.
Yeah, saying I have a surprise for you over the phone is like, I brought you a cake. I'm home early.
I got flowers. I'm home early.
Yeah. Not I'm a horrible. Or I've
Not
suffered
I'm a
horrible
rock
accident.
man now.
Yeah, I got a little one for you too.
Are you eating gravel? Like what's that?
Where are you?
Why are you going outside in your nightie?
That is,
I thought that was weird too.
She could have put on a coat or a jacket or something, and it is New York. I mean, a little, at night you get a little chilly there.
For a second.
That's a short night.
It's gonna be a bit of a shock.
Honey, what's going on?
Debs, remember when we used to say, together forever, no matter what?
Yeah?
Well,
Maybe you're scaring me.
Yeah, just give it a second.
I'm about to scare you more.
Jesus.
it's me. It's still me. It was the accident. Let me explain.
No, don't touch me!
Debs!
Jesus Christ. I mean,
Oh my god.
I mean, geez.
If they really wanted to maximize entertainment factor, they would have had a Meet Joe Black's style car crash.
No, but then you don't get the fucking scene later on the Brooklyn Bridge where she like makes eye contact with him and throws her engagement ring on the ground.
Yeah. And you mentioned the Brooklyn Bridge scene, which is
like, I don't give a fuck if you just saved a bunch of people.
You mentioned the Brooklyn Bridge scene, which that's the first time you actually get to see them all use their powers in unison.
Mhm.
So that's when they officially become in the movie the Fantastic Four, which they get into the movie I think fairly quickly because they get on the mission, they do it, the accident happens, they come back. I think this scene happens relatively like the first, I think,
Yeah,
40 minutes.
Yeah, the movie is only
30 minutes?
the movie's only an hour and 40 some minutes.
It covers a lot of
I think
ground.
it moves fairly quick.
Yeah, so it moves kind of quick there. So you actually get to see them saving people. You get to see them, there's a fire truck there that falls off the bridge, so he pulls it up there. Reed gets to use his stretching powers, and everything like that. And it leads to one of the more sadder scenes in it where you see him trying to pick up the ring there, which I think Sage has mentioned. I'll show that scene in a minute there.
That was the moment I was alluding to at the beginning. I think that's a pretty, not as much the way she leaves it on the ground. That's kind of over the top, but just the scene of him trying to pick it up again off the ground. I think that's a really emotional moment.
Yeah. How do you think they work together? I mean, you mentioned that you don't think Reed Richards and Sue Storm have many good chemistry there, but how do you think the team in unison? Do you think they have good chemistry? Just everybody working?
Oh,
I think Michael Chiklis and Chris Evans are so good that they almost force the other characters to have chemistry with them. But yeah, Reed and Sue when it's just Reed and Sue, I think are very flat.
Yeah, when it's just Reed and Sue, it's like I kind of had this joke when I was rewatching the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. Is like, okay, was Jennifer Love Hewitt ever a good actress or was she just hot? And I'm kind of like that with Jessica Alba.
Yeah. I liked her in.
It was like, yes, Queen, give us nothing.
I guess she was kind of good in Sin City. Jessica Alba, I guess she was good in that.
Again, was she good in that or was she just hot?
I think in that movie, the point was to just be hot.
And there's a scene that they did add in this movie when they got Jessica Alba as Sue Storm. There's a scene where she strips to her underwear, which is only a scene that they added just after they got Jessica Alba.
The 2000s.
There is
The
that
2000s. What a wonderful, kind of poorly aged time you were.
It's cringy in the movie when you actually see that moment because they do it twice too. Like
that's a running
back to back, and then in the second movie it comes up again.
Yeah. So this was the scene right there, like I said. So they added that in the movie there. After she
it was
got
like especially weird because Chris Evans is playing her brother and he takes his time to like turn around.
But this is the scene you mentioned where she sees him in this, like after he's got done saving people are cheering him on, and then she makes
it's the most fucked up scene in the whole movie.
Like, yeah, she's looking at him here.
You two fuck ugly.
and then just leaves it right on the ground there. At least she didn't throw it at him, I guess. At least that's going on. But yeah. And then I thought this was gonna show the pickup there. But let me see if I can find that. But and it's funny, Johnny Storm, after that emotional scene that happened there, you also see him, he looks at thing and goes, "Where are your ears?" Like they're recovered. So like little moments like that, I think.
Johnny's an asshole this whole time.
I think there's kind of so that does make it kind of enjoyable there, and it kind of also makes it like, let's say, it doesn't take itself too seriously, not like something like Fan Four Stick, which is so kind of serious, and they don't even turn into the Fantastic Four like until the last 20
Wait
minutes.
a minute. Say that again.
Until the last like 20 minutes of the movie, they become the Fantastic, which I thought was absolutely absurd there. This is where he says where he kind of tries to pick up the ring right here, and this is also the clip that we see. He talks about his ears there, which I think is pretty funny there, as well as that. I feel like these people have been clapping for a minute. What is this, the Cannes Film Festival? I mean, damn. I mean, how much more can you clap? Damn, bro.
I mean, if The Idol can get a 20-minute standing ovation, I mean, saving a bunch of people can.
Yeah. And this is the joke about the ears right here.
Told you I felt fine.
Where are your ears?
I mean,
thank you for clicking on our video.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah,
he's kind of asking the right questions. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
it was like I think in one of the even funnier ones is in the second movie, and that movie is fucking atrocious. But the one like funniest line is like when Johnny makes a joke about Kerry Washington getting killed in a rock slide.
Oh, that's a good one too. Man. So. Yeah, I think that kind of, their back and forth really, adds a lot to the movie. I think it's one of the kind of the shining points in it. What do you think about the effects here of it? I mean, the stretching, I think him being on fire. What do you think about some of the special effects that you've seen?
Well, just first of all, and I keep being told that the Netflix One Piece live action show is like the one exception or the first time, but stretching powers, other than maybe that, which I have not seen, have never looked good in live action. So I think that I can't even hold the movie, like I can't hold it against the movie because I don't think anyone's pulled it off. The fire effects I think look fine. I mean, for the time that this came out, and it's better than the fire effects in the Roger Corman movie. I don't know if you remember what those look like. And then, I remember disliking thinking that the practical suit for the Thing wasn't all that great, but that's one of the things that I kind of flipped around on revisiting the movie is there's actually a lot of like movement in the face.
Yeah, it's like, there's more detail in the prosthetic for Michael Chiklis than I remember. It's like little moments with his facial expressions that I kind of forgot about. I think, it's more practical for a film to go to turn the thing into a CG character, because there's more you can do efficiently. But you can't be practical. I do think that the makeup kind of forces this like super gravelly voice effect on Michael Chiklis that kind of takes me out of it in some scenes. But but his performance, even beneath all that makeup, is still so good that it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah. And then he also wore prosthetic teeth as well, Michael Chiklis.
That might
Well, that
explain
probably
it.
had an effect on the voice.
Yeah, so he also did that. So he was wearing them chicklins as Michael Chiklis there.
He was wearing them weekend veneers from Hurry Up Tomorrow.
Yeah. And like you said, you mentioned the live action One Piece series here. So here's a little bit of it. I mean, I think people were remarking of how great the stretching abilities looked in this. And it's like, well, why didn't you do that with Kamala Khan? What this was able. So it was you just kind of making an excuse that you couldn't do with her stretching about abilities there. Have you seen
Yeah,
some of
that
the
does look good.
Have you
Yeah.
seen some of the trailers with Fantastic Four where you see Reed Richards with his stretching? They've
They're-
shown it a little bit.
They've
They
only
have
like
started to
shown
show it.
they're shown like very, very little of it. I think a big help of it is because it's like fully concealed all of the limbs, so there's a little bit easier as far as animating all of it goes. I'm curious to see it in the movie how they handle it, because those are the ones that they've been the most cagey about.
Yeah, because you've gotten to see like every other power in the footage.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean it is the toughest to get right for sure, because there's that uncanny valley effect of it. But my hope is that they let him be a little weird with it, and it's not just I don't know, it's not just a punch from far away, or like I hope he like kind of turns into some stuff or does a little weird. I know a friend of mine pointed a small detail out that I actually thought once he pointed it out to me, I thought was pretty interesting. But you see him, I think it's when they're in the trailer when they're in like they're going up into like Galactus's ship, but you see him like land on the ground, and his knees are like stretching and then like change shape to like account for the impact of landing. And I didn't notice it until, again, a friend someone pointed it out to me, but I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty clever, like, you're actually thinking about like the physics of it a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll see when we see the final product of it, but we do see a little bit for right now in the trailer. It looks pretty decent there as well there. Do you think the weakest link in here is Jessica Alba's Sue Storm, if you say from the cast?
Oh, without
I think
question.
so.
Without question.
Yeah.
Because like her character's only purpose here is to just be the love interest to Johan Grufford, which is kind of hard when they don't have any chemistry. And Johan Grufford, I feel like when he's surrounded by any other castmate, I feel like he's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, again, not to be like super mean and harp on Jessica Alba, but like a lot of the jokes that we're making about like Gal Gadot now, I was making about Jessica Alba 15 years ago when this movie was new.
Yeah. So she didn't cry about the context. Let me clarify. She cried about the fact that she was told to cry in the movie. There's a scene where she does cry.
Oh, yeah. It was like she was told to like look prettier when you cry.
Yeah, so that's the moment. So she almost made her quit acting after that when they told her to do that in Fantastic Four 2.
Sounds like something Dr. Doom would say. I mean,
yeah. So you got that guy going. So that's the reason she had issues there on set with that. And there was a controversy back then of casting Jessica Alba as Sue Storm there. And the and it just also looked very weird, her with that kind of look there. And because
it's not as jarring here as it is in the second one.
Yeah, here it's a little bit more, but in the second one, it's much more prominent there. A lot of what's kind of.
Would anybody have had a problem with her just not having those contacts in? Because I really don't see what the point of those are.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it kind of makes her just look weird. I don't know. What was that one? Oh, it was in Ahsoka, where it's like Mary Elizabeth Winstead, where she's looking like
super creepy.
That looked really fucking weird. I was like, bro, like, please. I know I get it's the character, but y'all take these out of her head. She looks like a fucking demon with these contacts on. So you do that. So yeah, I think she's might be the kind of the weakest person here amongst the cast that you got. And I think, yeah, I mean, she's kind of the weakest link there. Did you like Silver Surfer better? Do you like the sequel better? Do you think that's an improvement?
Oh hell no. Nah. Silver Surfer is like one of the worst movies I've seen in my entire life.
Really? Okay. Why do you hate it much more than the first?
Silver Surfer, it feels like just this such clashing of tones constantly throughout the whole movie that never really comes together. Even like you know, easily the two best aspects of it with Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis. Their dynamic has like mellowed out to the point where it kind of removes any of the charm that the first movie had.
Yeah. What do you think, say? Yeah, see, that's
Oh,
a
I also hate this movie.
Jesus.
Gee, oh my god. Jesus Christ.
No, I hate this movie. I remember seeing it in theaters, and I can't even put into words how disappointed I was at Galactus being a cloud. And then it happened again when Green Lantern came out, and I just can't win.
But at least Silver Surfer was cool. Silver Surfer looks really good.
Some of the effects on the Silver Surfer looked good at the time. It's aged a bit. I do like the casting of Doug Jones and Lawrence Fishburne as like a dual role. I think that's a cool idea. At the same time, I mean, and again, it's been a while since I watched this, so it's just my memory of it. But I do feel like even though the movie's got Silver Surfer in the title, that the Silver Surfer character is pretty underused in the film. Like
he's
a couple of
literally
cool
he's
scenes,
literally just a plot device in the movie.
yeah. I will say the one positive I'll throw towards that movie, it does have maybe the best Stan Lee cameo.
Okay. Because in this movie, he's the mailman there, so he's the mailman for the Baxter building. This one, I don't remember. Was he the same thing in the sequel there?
No, in the second one,
No,
he's trying to get
literally
into the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
They
like
won't
trying
let
to
him
get
in.
into the wedding, and it was like, "Yeah, are you on the list?" Yeah, it's Stan Lee.
Oh, okay.
Well, and they're literally like, "No, sir, you can't come in here." He's like, "But come on, I'm Stan Lee." I thought that was fun.
Oh, okay. Here's the scene right here. Yeah. Okay. I forgot about this one in here. Oh, that's kind of fun. They got.
That's a cute detail.
Invitation, sir.
I should be on that list.
Name?
Stan Lee.
Yeah, nice try, buddy.
No, really, I'm Stan Lee.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what kind of some of your favorite parts here? I mean, you mentioned the Johnny Storm thing dynamic here in the '05 version. Any other things that you kind of love about? Do you miss kind of these campy versions of the way they used to do these superhero movies back in the early 2000s? Does it give you nostalgia there?
Not really. Not in the same way like maybe watching the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies would. There's the bright spots that are in here, but I still feel like it gets enough wrong, or it speeds through things in enough of a way that I don't necessarily watch it and go, I wish that they would make a movie like this now. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
like, even appreciating things,
Yeah, and nostalgia in one way where, at this point in time, even like the bad superhero movies, you can still tell that there was like love and craft behind the camera. There was still this sense of everybody like behind the scenes like thought that they were going to be making something great or something that was going to be turned into a great movie, versus like the bad superhero movies now are like Morbius or Madam Web or Craven the Hunter, where they're just so inept and incompetent that you can't even like have fun laughing at them.
Yeah.
Does the James Gunn Superman that reminds you a lot of kind of maybe like a Sam Raimi Spider-Man early 2000s superhero movie in a good way?
In the best way, I'd say. It reminded me of that like being like brought into the pages of a comic book the way the Raimi Spider-Man did.
Okay. And then while they're kind of learning their abilities, their kind of powers, you see them.
Yeah, that montage where they're all like living together in the Baxter building, that was kind of cute.
Yeah,
so I enjoyed that.
And then there's something like in many like early 2000s movies there, or even from the 90s, you have that moment where a character says something that becomes later relevant there. It's like, oh, Johnny never goes supernova, so he's gonna go supernova. When somebody says it,
Of
it's like
course.
that's obviously gonna happen there. Even though you said that, I mean, him going supernova would be way more dangerous than what they show in the movie there. I think when we talked about the movie before there, or no, maybe we were just talking about when Johnny showed back up in Deadpool and Wolverine, and you talked about the fact that Pyro absorbed Johnny Storm's ability. It's like that.
Oh yeah, no, like because it's in Deadpool and Wolverine. I remember now because the Human Torch's firepower. It's not just fire. It's also the power cosmic, right? That's from this radiation cloud. It's tied to the power of Galactus and Silver Surfer and this kind of cosmic element. And the fire that the Human Torch is expelling is cosmic fire radiation. Pyro can
It's like
manipulate fire on
yeah,
Earth. He's
it's
not
like
powerful enough to do
it's
that.
like it's like the difference between a campfire and literal hellfire.
Yeah.
And then we get to see there, of course, montage, get to all their powers there, and we see that Doctor Doom is here. They portrayed as like basically his face is falling apart, his skin is coming apart there, with kind of this, and it leads to what we see here in the final scene. Do you think this is kind of the best look that Doctor Doom has looked in live action here, as far as this?
To be honest, I think the Roger
I mean-
Corman movie is better than this.
I mean, in comparison to what we got.
Let me look up the Roger Corman one here. So this actually
The Roger Corman one, I think, is the best live action Doctor Doom costume so far.
Yeah, this actually don't look too bad. This actually looks pretty decent there.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
There's a lot
yeah,
of
it looks
terrible
really
things
good.
about that movie, but
Looks very medievalish. Okay, you guys just kind of get the medieval knight armor there with that.
it's like an actual suit of armor and a tunic, which is what it is.
Yeah. So you got that, but then you have to find out. What do you think about the climax of this?
I think the climax is a big mess. I think it really kind of throws elements very quickly together. Like we said earlier, Doctor Doom goes from like somebody that's like not a great person, but
an asshole, but reasonable to
like in like 5 minutes. And also some of the worst like one-liners too, like when he's like, "Susan, let's not fight," and her big moment of "No, let's," and that's almost as bad as when does a toad get what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning.
Oh, actually, let me show that scene. Yeah, because that's a funny scene there.
It's like this could have worked with some good delivery.
Yeah. But so let me see that scene right there. But yeah, so you have this final climax, this final battle between all these kind of characters. I think somewhat it looks, again, for the time, I think it looks kind of decent there. For what they were kind of doing. I think it looks kind of all right. Did you have any issue with any of that kind of going on?
I mean, it looks fine for the time. The effects itself, it looks fine for when it came out. I mean, it doesn't hold up great, but it looks better than some things from back then.
Yeah, for back then it looks great, but I'm not putting this against like another movie from 2005 we covered on the channel, like Revenge of the Sith, where that CGI and those effects aged phenomenally. And you could put that up with, a lot of VFX work today and it still holds up. Here, it's like, it's a slight step down from what we're getting today in the CG projects that really work.
So this is a scene that Sage was talking about right here. His finger.
The gods, so we could refuse these gifts.
Victor, you always thought you were a god. Now back off.
Susan, let's not fight.
No, let's.
Okay. Well, she put a lot of emphasis on that oomph there, man. The shield. Man.
Victor, you always thought you were a god.
What would be your final thoughts rating for Fantastic Four 05 there? Sage.
Like I said, I enjoyed it more going back to it than I maybe would have expected. There are some performances here that stand out and make some of this actually really work and do capture the feeling of what these characters are. On the whole, though, it just doesn't do enough of that across the board. And especially, I think it falls apart in the third act, and it rushes the development of the villain so much that it just becomes kind of a mess. But like I said, the first like 2/3 are honestly way more enjoyable than I remembered them being. I'd give it like a I'd say I'd give it like a really like high stream it.
Mhm.
Okay. What about you then?
I'm kind of right there with you. Is like rewatching this after not having seen it in such a long time. I'm surprised how much of this movie actually really works pretty well. I think some of the performances, especially we mentioned Chris Evans, Michael Chiklis, and Julian McMahon. I think those are all kind of standout performances, especially for comic book movies at this time in history. I feel like the movie really understands the dynamic between the characters that it really stands out amongst other superhero films because besides X-Men, where those movies are more or less just Wolverine's story, this one really nailed the ensemble, which we didn't see a lot in comic movies at the time. I think the where it is weak is, with its third act where things are so rushed because the movie is so short that, character turns just happen more or less out of nowhere. Like we keep mentioning with Julian McMahon, as good as I think he is in the movie and how much he does nail the essence of Victor Von Doom in the comics. I feel like because of a lot of the 2000s isms of this movie, you really don't get to a real faithful portrayal of the character. But effects wise, I think this holds up fairly well compared to a lot of films from 2005. And I'm shocked how much I ended up enjoying this. What this gets wrong, it gets so wrong that it becomes egregious. And even as I was, rewatching and kind of enjoying it, those pulled me out of my experience right away. I gotta give this. This is like a fairly strong stream it. This is like one of those. This is one of the kind of shocking that the movie is as good as it is, considering how bad the sequel is.
I'd give it a stream it as well. I think, I know going back watching this, there's a certain campiness that's kind of you can appreciate. It's not the worst Fantastic Four movie because then you got Fan Four Stick that tops it. So then you go like, okay, you got that along with it. So at least it, isn't the worst Fantastic Four movie anymore. And like I said, I think due to the dynamic between Johnny and Ben, that's really great. That's one of the key selling points of this movie. Chris Evans is perfect casting as Johnny Storm. I think he really works as that character, even if it is corny ass 2000 pickup lines that he's doing there. With
they got he got hooked up with Maria Menounos, which can you say you've done?
Yeah,
and hey, to be fair, it's better than the song he sings in the '90s cartoon. I don't know if you remember that.
So you got that. So I think there has that going for it. The use of the prosthetics here. I mean, I think the Thing looks pretty good there. I think that looks all right. I think it'll. I know people talk about prosthetics topping sometimes. Practical effects topping special effects, but I think the Thing in this new one looks better with the use of CGI than this current one there because he still looks kind of like Play-Doh, kind of like kind of just make styrofoam, kind of like the way that looks there. Julian McMahon there as Victor Von Doom has some decent moments, I think, as the character, but I'm not a Doom expert there, just MF Doom expert. But I think that Julian.
This movie is more comics accurate than this movie.
This movie had a missed opportunity, kind of the way "Run the Jewels" is the theme music for the Mauler twins. We should have had some MF Doom needle drops in this movie.
Yeah, I think that's what people want for the Secret Wars. They want MF Doom to open it. I think when they do the whole opening Marvel thing, they want Doom.
I'd want it if it wasn't Robert Downey Jr.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I think it's a good, fun look at like early 2000 superhero movies when you had great ones like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. You also had these mediocre to shitty ones like 2005 Fantastic Four. You had Ghost Rider. You had what was another? Catwoman.
Hey,
Elektra, Daredevil.
Hey, I stand by Ghost Rider being like a great B movie.
Yeah,
I'm with you, but I will also say that I've watched every movie Nicolas Cage has ever been in, and I'll just probably say that about any movie he's in. So.
And also, even this year that this came out, he also had another great superhero movie with Batman Begins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Batman Begins also came at the same time. This movie had a budget of 87.5 to $100 million. Ended up having a box office of 333.5 million. It'd be funny if it was 444.4 million. That'd be funny if it was that.
Damn it, America! Damn it, 2005 America in the world.
Yeah, so yeah, that. So it was a box office success. It led to, of course, as we talked about, the sequel, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. There, it had a budget of $130 million, made a box office of 301.9 million. So it was a drop off from the first one. I wonder why it was a drop off there.
Because it sucked. Because it sucked.
Maybe Galactus was a cloud there. So yeah, that going on, but so yeah, some of the things there with Fantastic Four 2005 there. Like I said, didn't have a third movie, and so stream it's all around for Fantastic Four. All right, yeah. We'll get that. So I'll let the Sage. You still got time to do your review there, or?
I was gonna say it is getting a little late for me. Would you be okay with pushing that one to the next Monday?
Sure, I could do that. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll come back. Yeah, I saw you looking over. I just wanted to check, make sure. Yeah, you kind of looking over there. The missus is probably going like, okay, when you get the fuck off talking about these comic book shit.
It's a little bit of
that. So yeah, all right. I'll go ahead and wait. Somebody, thank you.
Mrs. just in the background, just whisper yelling.
I'll go ahead and raise Geek Dom is on. He playing Lives of Peace. I'll go ahead and give him a raid there. But thank you, Sage. Thank you, Nick. Sage, where can people find you that going on with you next, man?
Yeah, you can find me over at Rated M for Maturity on Twitch, YouTube, all under that exact same name. We're going to be playing Doom: The Dark Ages going forward. We just finished Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which is a ton of fun. I'm sure this will be a ton of fun. And yeah, I don't know what's going to be after that, but that'll fill up at least the next month or so.
Yeah. And Nick, where can people find you, man?
All right, you can find me on all the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky at Night and Day Nick.
Very awesome. You can catch us. We'll be streaming again Friday. Hopefully Nick and Dust can join me doing a review for Heads of State. I know what you did last summer, Eddington and Fantastic Four 2025, the first steps doing that. Saturday, no stream planned. Sunday, maybe if I can get Chris from the Black Steps Podcast and Mike from Grey Works here, we'll do a review for 28 Days Later and Ironheart, the Marvel Disney Plus series.
Yeah, if that happens, I'm game for that.
All right, maybe Nick will join me as well for that. And Monday, hopefully Sage can join me next Monday there, do a review for Fantastic Four, do a spoiler review for that. Monday there, like we did a spoiler review for Superman. And then also he'll do his review of Death Stranding. There. I'm eager to see if they set up a Death Stranding 3. I'm eager to ask them that there as well. Thank you to Pumptress there. Came in there. Thank you to Goon Without Me, 96 there.
We won't ever do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you over to Geek Down. Geek Down's playing that Lives of P. And we are out of here. Stay tuned.
Thank you.